cream of the crop, but it does it better.
Baby, you are so money and you don't even know it.
I understood that reference.
Morning, Mr. Hammond. Your mission, should you accept it, steal, destroy, shadow, disappear, assemble the team, and here we go.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to FreeWheeling Fridays. This is a show where we introduce some of the best creators from all over the world, and we find out more about them by taking our questions while also just having a few random tangents of pop culture history, because why not? Because pop culture is in our blood. We eat, sleep, and breathe it, and we like to talk about it at times, so why not? But thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and share this with your closest friends. If you have any questions for our guest or myself, let us know in the comments, let us know in the chat. And if you're watching us live on the replay, hello there. Please welcome indie comic book creator extraordinaire, the man who's got a 50,000-year plan like Kevin Feige, only he puts Kevin Feige to shame. Brian Blackston Jr. is in the building. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. What's up? Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. We're happy to have you here. We're also happy to have you here who may be watching and listening to us right now. So thanks for doing so. With that piece of business out of the way, Brian, when were you first introduced to comics? When did you start reading them?
Oh, good question. Yes, it started with my dad. My dad, he's a big avid Marvel and DC comic reader, more specifically Marvel, and he's been reading it ever since I was young. And I used to love the fact that there was like a bonding moment with my father. Every time he had a new issue, you know, he would sit down, he would pull out his box of comics, and I would sit right beside him, and he would read them. And whatever older issues that he would have, he would just pull it out of the box, give it to me, and I will open them up while he read his latest issue and everything. So it started with that, with my dad, like really getting me into, you know, Marvel and DC comics, more specifically, you know, X-Men, you know, your traditional, your X-Men, your Fantastic Four. I didn't really get into much of Iron Man, you know, earlier on, or Captain America, but it was more like the Spider-Man, Hulks, Fantastic Four, and X-Men, and through those I got introduced to other, you know, Marvel IP, and then of course with DC, with Batman, you know, the Superman, you know, the Justice League starting lineup. I got used to those characters, and then that's when, you know, we get to the animated series, and it was my first time being introduced to now animation, you know, starting with Batman and animated series, and then eventually it was X-Men, the animated series, Spider-Man, the list goes on. And I was able to enjoy that with, you know, my father, you know, and my siblings and stuff. And to see my dad be a big kid, you know, because he grew up reading this stuff. And now I'm here sitting down with my dad, and we here watching it together, and him pointing out, you know, different aspects of these cartoons that, you know, that pay homage to the books that he read, or took aspects to the books that he read from different issues and stuff. And I'm learning about comics, you know, through that. And especially, oh my God, especially when Justice League, the animated series, came out, man, that really got me into like DC comics in general, because like I said, I only knew the baseline of, you know, DC characters and everything. It was more so my dad really got me into the Marvel. But man, once Justice League came out, it got me like really curious about all the other DC characters. From that introduction to that series, to go do a bigger deep dive into it. But yeah, man, that's essentially what got me into the whole comics and stuff.
Damn, well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I'm wearing a Trinity of DC right here. I got the bats, I got the Wonders, I got the soups right here. You see that?
Yeah.
Brought to you by our good friends over there at tpublic.com. Hashtag not a sponsor of this show, but if they want to be, call me, maybe, you know, and then we can work out a deal. But yeah, dude, I hear you. Justice League Unlimited, two of the best of all time. I could have watched Justice League Unlimited go 50 seasons and not get tired of that.
Yeah, bro, like that was like my like crash course, especially Justice League Unlimited, because Justice League Unlimited, how big it is. And it was characters I never seen before. It is
never even heard of.
I'm like, yo, who is this guy? Like this dude, like King Arthur and stuff like that. And Cowboy. I'm like, who are these?
Cowboy this?
Yeah, I'm like, what the like? Yeah, so it got me into like knowing what these characters are. I started doing further research just based off of being introduced to them in the cartoon. So I think that was awesome. And then Marvel had a hard time. I think DC, they did a better job with their animated series compared to how Marvel are good with their movies at that time. DC had the animated series and the animated movies on lock, and I enjoyed every bit of them. Marvel had a hard time keeping up. I think the more recent Marvel cartoon I enjoyed was was the Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes. That
Sure,
came out.
yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
Oh man, I fell in love with that because that was the only Marvel cartoon of recent time where that was actually good, and it did the same thing that Justice League Unlimited did. They started just throwing in a bunch of different characters and stuff like that. Because I heard of Guardians of the Galaxy. I was introduced to Guardians of the Galaxy in that. Well, I wouldn't say in that cartoon because it was actually Marvel versus Capcom 3, where I was introduced to Rocket Raccoon. I'm like, a raccoon with a gun? Like what the hell is that? But Earth Mightiest Heroes did a full crash course introduction in Earth Mightiest Heroes, and this is before Guardians of the Galaxy movie came out. So they was preparing. That's like actually like promotion to get everybody ready for this announcement that Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be a movie and stuff. So, yeah, man, I love it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So many titles, and you mentioned X-Men. Yeah, grew up. I mean, come on, theme song is etched in our heads forever. Yeah, I mean, come on. And then they rebooted it, and then they rebooted it 30 years later with X-Men '97, which killed it. So, which is great. I still
haven't watched it yet. I put it on the side, and I said I'm going to get to it when I get a chance.
I'm not going to give you spoilers because that's not fair to the millions of people who may have yet to see it yet. But I'll tell you this: it takes what we did in '92 and just ups it to like 11 in '97. It just takes it to a whole other level. It's that. And I told the co-creator, well, not co-creator, but one of the producers of the series, because he produced the original series, Larry Houston, does a lot of conventions. And I told him, I said, look, man, I grew up watching X-Men and Spider-Man, all this stuff. But I just want to tell you, like, the stuff you did on X-Men in '92 was brilliant. Obviously, the theme song is iconic. And I've interviewed the composer of that theme song, Ron Wasserman. Wow. Is awesome. The same. Well, here's the funny thing about Ron Wasserman. Not only did he compose the theme song for X-Men, but he also composed the theme song for like Digimon, Pokemon, DBZ.
Get out of here.
He did it for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in 1993.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he composed literally our childhood. And the moment I heard that Ron was going to be on our show, which, by the way, you can find this on the And I Quote YouTube channel, which is my channel specifically. Ron Wasserman told me what it was like composing all those themes for all those shows, including X-Men, Mighty Morphin. Obviously, I'm a huge Power Rangers fan.
Oh, same here.
I had to ask him. I'm like, dude, what was it like? You got to tell me. What was the process? And he goes over it, too. So check out the interview. It's on our And I Quote playlist. You can find it there. You have to go back a little bit because it's, we did it a while back. But it's lit, as one might say. And, X-Men, I mean, and I said this to Larry Houston when I met him at the Comic-Con at Fan Expo in Philadelphia, which is one of the bigger shows here on the East Coast because I'm on the East Coast. I said, Larry, X-Men, I use this when I'm teaching my class because I say to them, X-Men is a great analogy for people with autism. It's a brilliant analogy. But it's a great analogy for anything, like, someone who's different from other people, going through, different situations, classism, social warfare, whatever it is. It's such great, like, what do you call it, analogy to use when you're explaining stuff to kids or just explaining stuff in general. I use X-Men in all my examples because X-Men is a brilliant, to me anyway, it's a brilliant example. And I don't want to ignore the comments here in the chat because this chat room is lighting up like Christmas. Landon Art says, yo, Juna Rath.
That's my boy. That's my crew. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, they're saying, yo, what up? One of them says, same. I enjoyed Teen Titans, says June of Wrath. There you go. Not going to lie. It scared the shit out of me when Flash turned into an ape. Ooh, that's weird. I don't know if I can take that. That's a little creepy. Is it Corporal or Captain Bread says Star-Lord? I think you're trying to say Star-Lord, not Salute Lord.
No, I mean, my name is my YouTube name is MugenLord. So
okay,
Lord,
okay. I was like, what's going on here? I'm confused. But no, I gotcha. DC set up the blueprint of the cinematic universe as Landon Arts. Okay, fair enough. Daz 252 says I love video games since as long as I can remember. There you go. What is it? Nio Tingu. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing. He says, yo, Landon Art says, I plan on rewatching the OG X-Men cartoon. Get on it, son. OG X-Men is boss. I mean, come on, man. It's badass. I mean, personally, I like X-Men 92, but I like Spider-Man 94 just a little bit more. Yeah, just a little bit. That's hard. But it's kind of a tie.
Yeah, that's hard. That's really, really hard.
X-Men 94 is pretty damn good, man.
Yeah. That's kind of hard. But I'm from Philly, by the way.
Philly, the city of brotherly love, where it's always sunny.
Yeah, it's because funny. The Fan Expo, I was trying. We applied because I was trying to get Venus Orion Comics. I was trying to get a booth and everything there, and we got rejected.
Man, because I was gonna say, I'm surprised you and I didn't bump into each other.
Yeah. I know. For some strange reason, man, I was getting it. Like, I live in Philly, and I have a hard time getting into like a lot of the cons from my own city. Compared to all the other cons I've been to, Philly, where I live at, I've been getting like a lot of rejections from these cons. So,
Man, we got to get you a table. We got to get you a booth. We got to get you and your friends a booth out there, man.
Mm-hmm.
For real, it's got to, what was I going to say earlier? It's got to happen. And Daz252 goes on to say, I was introduced to the Commodore, Atari, and then Nintendo, and then Sega, and then PlayStation. Anybody remember those ads? Yeah, I remember
man.
And then he says, in that order. That's crazy. Landon Arts has a question, though. Have you seen the Japanese version intro of X-Men from the 90s? Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah. In fact, that's when people send me super chats.
Oh, okay.
That intro, Japanese intro with the song called Rise.
That's
pops up.
Okay.
It pops up on there and everything. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I got to revisit that. I don't think I may have seen it like in passing, but I haven't seen it like a long time.
Yeah. In fact, like in the later seasons of X-Men of the X-Men animated series, when the rolling credits at the end, sometimes they play the Japanese intro.
Oh,
they play it.
Okay.
They play it sometimes or whatever. But that was the intro for Japan, and it looks crazy. And it has their own theme song and stuff in Japanese, like an anime and everything. Yeah.
You know your history. It's very good. You know it better than I do. Let's see. June of Wrath goes on to say, still love that Digimon theme. Can't get into the show lately, though. Well, that's fair. I can see that. Some things age well, some things don't. Daz says X-Men is cool. I didn't know that the voice actress of Jean Grey and Jubilee is Claire Redfield and Jill Valentine from Resident Evil, if I'm not mistaken. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Jill? You sure Jill? I know it's Jean. I know it's Jubilee.
Yeah, Jubilee is one of them. Yeah.
I don't think Jill though. No, I don't think Jill. I think it's somebody else. But I know Jubilee. I know it's Claire Redfield for sure. Mm-hmm. I've seen a couple of interviews with her. And another thing too, I met the voice actress to the new Jubilee
Holly. What's it? Holly Chow, I want to say.
Yeah.
How was she? What was your?
Oh no, she's really nice. We had an X-Men con here in Philadelphia.
Oh, Uncanny X-Men experience. Is it or no? Is it X-Men Mutant and Proud?
No, it's a small con. It was only like 50 to 100 people there. It's like they only had it for like the past 2 years.
Yeah, it's a
Hellfire. It's like a Hellfire club.
I think it's X-Men Mutant and Proud or something like
that. Yeah, something I can't remember.
Lady J, right? Lady J.
Yeah. Because my brother Keo, he's best friends with her.
All right, Lady J cosplay is a friend of ours. So what's up, Lady J? I'm friends with her. I'm friends with her.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah. We went there and everything. So I got just to meet
Ted
her.
Woods had a table there. Ted Woods, the artist, had a booth there. He was an artist.
Yep. It was pretty cool. It was interesting. Yep.
Yeah, I like to go to that con one time, but at the same time, like it's I don't mind one day cons. I've done it before. But it's like, well, it's in a Philadelphia Historical Society. It's kind of reminiscent of the Hellfire, which is fine. I don't mind it. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, it's kind of a small venue, and X-Men is such a big fandom.
But it was nice. It was even though it was like a 1 day thing, and it was like it was pretty small or whatever like that. But man, passion was there with the costumes and stuff like that. I saw the footage. But like I think I've grown like my first actual con I've been to was Otakon in 2000. Was it?
Oh, I know that one.
I think it's like 2007. That was my very first con. And I had got spoiled by those cons because going there it had over 15,000 people. Big con. It was in Baltimore and everything. Amazing costumes and stuff like that. And now that I am a vendor myself with Venus Orion Comics, and now I'm going in as a vendor to a lot of these comics, to a lot of these conventions and stuff, I'm seeing the different sizes and how they are. And the smaller ones I enjoy a lot because it feels more like family. It's even more social. It's even more personal, getting to know everybody and stuff like that, and network and formulate with come together and make connections and stuff like that. I think that was pretty cool. So that Hellfire Club, even though it was a 1 day thing, I think it was fun. It was very homely, and you got a chance to actually sit down and just chill with the voice actors too. They would just hang with you, chill with you and everything like that with the rest of the crowd, and have lunch and dinner with them and stuff like that, because the voice actress that played as Jubilee, like she was just chilling with us and everything. And my brother, like I said, we own a t-shirt business, so they had made an X-Men shirt because they knew she was going to be there. So she
nice.
Yes, they gave her a shirt. She signed it and everything. She chilled at our booth and stuff, and it was pretty cool. I had a good time, man. It was Yeah.
Well, you're making me jello over here because our experience this year, 2025 at Fan Expo Philly, wasn't that good. It was all right, but
Yeah, a lot of people.
It could have been better. It could have been worse. And I'm talking about the overall
No,
experience.
I'm
I'm not dogging like people in Vendors Alley, Artist Alley. You guys weren't the problem. The celebrities, some of the handlers, you got issues.
a lot of people,
and you need to fix it because I'm sick and tired of the rigmarole that we as fans get. Because I'll tell you this. Here's a true story. This is for those of you who are in Philadelphia and we're Fan Expo, right?
Right.
When I go up to meet two celebrities, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get into a whole spiel here because I want to keep the focus on Brian here. This is his show, not mine. But I want to give credence where credence is due. But I got nickel and dimed by two celebrities that I waited a very long, I'm not talking about hours. I'm talking about like I've waited years to meet these people because I've been fans of this property for so long. And I get up there and their handler tells me it's going to be X amount of dollars for this, X amount of dollars if you want to get that. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's no combo. You have to
Oh wow.
do it. So yeah, they separated the selfie and the autograph, and I'm just like, what the frack is this?
No.
So unfortunately, for those of you who were there, you know what I'm talking about. I was nickel and dimed by two people. One of them, at the end of the day, I was okay with because I had the money for it. The second one, I had to go over my convention budget for, which I don't like doing, is going over budget. Nobody ever likes going over budget. Doesn't matter if you're a con goer or somebody who's like whatever you're doing at the con, try your best not to go over budget. Just try not to. I know it's easier said than done. I know, but try not to do it. Right? You know what I'm talking about. So I went over budget, and I went over budget pretty hard, and that's because they didn't tell me that there was going to be like separate kind of ordeals happening at certain people's booths. I'm not going to name names, but I'm just like, dude, you just kind of like you didn't like ruin the overall experience, but you kind of soured me on this thing. You know what I'm saying? So like. That's why I'm hoping next year I get to go to the X-Men convention that you spoke of. Because Lady J is awesome. I love her here in the Philadelphia Avengers. Her and her crew, they're great people. I've met them before. They're great. I love them. Lady J, what's up, girl? I hope to be at the X-Men show next year. But I will say this: for those of you who are familiar with the Philadelphia area, and those of you who are familiar with Lady J cosplay, she runs a really good convention I went to the year before, which is Go-Go Ranger Station. Because I'm a diehard Power Rangers fan, baby. So when I went to Go-Go Rangers, I walked up to Lady J, and I said this to her at the beginning and the end of the con. I said, this is one of the top 10, if not top 5 best convention experiences of my career. And I've been going to conventions for 14 years, Brian. 14 years I've gone to conventions as an attendee, and I've tabled at a few toy shows, too. But it's like Lady J and their crew, like, for a new venue that they had at that time for Go-Go Ranger Station, they killed it. I mean, I know they had the behind-the-scenes issues with the venue, and that happens to everybody. But it's like, dude, she made it work, man. And Lady J, we love you, we support you. By the way, she just announced that season 5, as she's calling it, of Go-Go Ranger Station has been slated for March the 28th, I believe, of 2026.
That's my birthday.
Well, guess what? I hope to see you either tabling.
Oh wow!
I want to see you table at this shindig, or I want to see you attend there with me. And we're going to shoot some B-roll footage, and we're going to hang out with the Power Ranger actors. Let's do that.
That'd be awesome.
Let's go. You want to do it?
Yeah. I would love to do that.
I think we should.
That'd be awesome. I
think we should get on that. I think it should be a good collaboration. You know, even though Egon tells us don't cross the streams, but we cross the streams all the time, and we're still here, Egon. We're still here. By the way, R.I.P. Harold Ramis. We miss you, man. Yeah. But no, man. Yeah, my experience at Fan Expo was not very, very good to me. But when I'm working with Go-Go Ranger Station and Lady J cosplay, it's very, very good to me. So. Kind of like night and day.
Well, this is the crazy thing because we went to we was at Geekdom Con. We was at Geekdom Con.
Thy Geekdom Con in Oaks, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. We was there.
Yeah, I've been to that show. That's a decent show too.
That was my first time. Yeah, that was my first time going to that one. That was like 3 years ago, and that was my first time going as Venus Orion Comics. Because when I go to these cons, I go up to them as striking POTs, their business stuff.
The T-shirt business. Okay.
Yeah. So this is my first time going as Venus Orion Comics. My first con. How was it? As that. Oh, how can I say it?
Tell me.
Just like how you talk about Fan Expo, the experience and stuff like that. I think it was overall like the people that was there. It was fun as far as interacting with people. As far as going there as a vendor in the business, it was bad. It was the worst because it was their first time expanding.
Expanding the space. Okay, gotcha.
And it seemed like the owners didn't know exactly how they wanted the space out the vendors and how many vendors. And the problem was they overpacked vendors. It was like when I say competition, it was ridiculous. They categorized everybody in the wrong areas. Like for instance, my brother and them, they sell shirts and stuff. They put us in the area of Funko Pops.
Oh, jeez.
Action figures and stuff like that. So what happened was you had when it comes to Funko Pops, you put to spread the Funko Pops in the different areas of the convention. That makes people walk around the entire convention, and as they're on their way trying to find the Funko Pops, they stop at other stations. What they did was they concentrated all the Funko Pops in one area. So what happens is you had everybody clustered in one spot going for Funko Pops. And what the problem was, you had this one guy who had an effing library, like a vault of Funko Pops. I mean, and so the other Funko Pops and action figure people couldn't compete because everybody would walk by them and go straight over to his station and everything like that. And
so it was a bad layout. It was a
bad layout. So the thing was, no one's going there for shirts and stuff like that when the shirts in all those other areas was way on the other end and stuff like that. But they had us in there with action figures. People come there for action figures. So it was more like my brothers and them had they had to step up their salesman game, trying to get people to come over and everything to check out shirts when people are actually there for figures and everything. So it was a struggle with that. So a lot of vendors said they weren't coming back because no one made money there. Everybody did really, really bad there. And you also got to understand too, Philly's a tough crowd. Philly's is a tough crowd. Yeah. I don't know why, but Philly's a tough crowd. I'm from Philly, but Philly's a tough crowd, especially when it comes to people like people that's buying things, like customers and stuff like that.
Right.
We had these two people who are actually from Texas, and they heard about Thy Keep Them Con, so they decided to come from Texas all the way down here. There's a lot of people who's not from here in this
out of
area.
State.
Out of state came here, and they was like, "What's going on?" Like people come here and just browse. They don't buy. Like they just come here and they just browse and don't buy. Like I've never seen this before or whatever like that. Yeah.
I was going to say, one of the things that I think a lot of conventions struggle with is a balance between what do you have more of? Do you have more vendors and celebrities, or do you have more celebrities and vendors? Because you got to, and I know this is easier said than done. Listen, I'm not a business owner and I'm not a convention owner, but I've been to so many conventions in my career where I can tell you, I feel like they're focusing way too much on the celebrities and not enough on the backbone of the convention, which in this case is the vendors, because I've met some of the best creative people in my life, personally and professionally, are in Vendors Alley. They're not the celebrities. Granted, I'm fans of those properties and I'm fans of those actors who have portrayed those characters. Don't get me wrong. But the vendors, dude, excuse me for saying this, but the fan art is immensely incredible. I mean, I've met some of the best artists in the world, and some of them have never, like done artwork for Marvel or DC, or maybe some of them have, some haven't. But they're selling their artwork because this is their baby, this is their passion, and they love it. And it comes out when they're talking to you at their booths. You can feel the passion out of their eyes, out of their mouths, whatever it is. And when we go to Fan Expo Philly, I always ask my vendor friends, because I have like 6 or 7 people who table there, on a somewhat, regularly every year. And I say, hey, how's business for you? And they tell me, oh, it's not so good this year. Oh, it's it's this. Oh, it's that. And I'm like, well, why? And then I ask them, why do you feel that is? I'm curious, like, what is your feeling on this? Because you know this inside and out better than I do. I'm an attendee. I'm not a vendor, but I respect everybody who makes the puzzle come together. And like, well, it's because of this. Oh, it's because, and I'm like, yeah. Here's the thing about Thy Geekdom Con. I've been there once, but I do feel like Thy Geekdom Con has like 300 celebrities, and like the vendors are like an afterthought.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, some of the vendors at this con, like I didn't even know that I knew 2 or 3 of my friends were going to be there, but I didn't know like 5 other of my friends were going to be tabling, because they kept advertising over and over again what voice actors.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the publicity for the vendors? They are the backbone of that convention. Without vendors, there's no convention.
Yeah. And this is the thing, like, I did pretty well for myself because I was selling comics, but my brothers and I was selling comics. So when people came by these, they said, "Oh man, what's this? I never this looks awesome" and stuff like that. So I was doing pretty good compared to my brothers and stuff. My brothers had, because wherever we go with Striking Quixotes, the t-shirt business, we always profit when we go. But this one was like a struggle because of the layout and how everything was treated there. And the date of Thy Geekdom Con, the other issue was, it was a week after Fan Expo or whatever. So a lot of people that went to Fan Expo, a lot of people spent their money and stuff.
Yep.
And people are not coming back again, to the
there's no coin left.
Exactly. And that was the other issue too. And then I got a chance to talk to some of the other vendors there, and they said, yeah, man, we just came back Fan Expo last week. We didn't do good there either. Like Philly's just a tough crowd of people when it comes to trying to sell stuff. and everything like that. And it was like it was a whole lot of problem this year with Fan Expo. So a lot of vendors who said, "Yo, I'm not going back to that either." I don't know what's going on with Philly. I mean, we also have another thing I found out. I never paid it no mind. We also have high taxes here when we do like convention and stuff. In Philadelphia and like Pennsylvania in general. That's why we don't get a lot of big events here, like New York City and Texas and Florida San Diego. That's why we don't get that. I don't know why Philly or why Pennsylvania in general have these outrageous taxes and stuff, and that's why a lot of businesses don't come here. A lot of conventions don't come here, and we always have to go out in order to get that experience and stuff. But yeah, it was a tough crowd. It was a real tough crowd.
Man, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Both you and I had, somewhat soured experiences at our respective conventions, but I hope things turn around and, get better. And obviously you and I and the people who are in the area or outside the area who are familiar with her on social media, we can count on Lady J Cosplay and her team to give us a great experience, whether it's X-Men, Power Rangers, which go Power Rangers. I'm excited about season 5. My God, am I excited. I'm just glad we finally got a date. We got a venue. She posted it on the social media pages the other day or 2 days ago. And I'm like, yes, we got it. Let's get our Power Rangers fever back, baby. I want it. So by the way, so many of you have chimed in. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's chimed in the chat because we cannot do the show without you, right, Brian? So Billy Donuts is here. They said, did someone order donuts? I don't know. I didn't order any. Do you know this person? I don't know if you know this.
Yeah. My crew.
I feel like you got your entire entourage in this chat room. It's beautiful. And then Landon goes on to say, my bro loves that Spider-Man cartoon. Can't deny that show is the GOAT alongside X-Men from 90. It's X-Men 92, not 94, but I get what you're saying. Junior Brad says, rise from the moon. Okay. Madness Entertainment Group, aka Pops, says, hey, yo, like Razor Ramon from WWF. Landon Art says, to Ryan, how hyped are you for Marvel? What is this? Marvel Token Fighting Soul? What is that? Tekken? Marvel Tekken?
Token Fighting Souls. So I did a reaction video to it. So apparently 2 weeks ago, I guess it's going on 2 weeks.
What is this? I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah. So apparently, I think it was like 2 weeks ago now. PlayStation had a press conference.
Okay.
Showing off their latest games that are coming out for the PlayStation 5 and stuff like that. So I did a reaction to it too because oh my God, I put it on it. I was losing my mind. Well, anyway, at the end they had one more game to show, so I was like, okay, I wonder what this is. But it comes on, it's some voices talking in Japanese. You see the subtitles and stuff like that. So I'm saying I still don't know what this is. But the moment I saw the shield with the star, Captain America, I said, wait a minute, Captain America. And I said, they speak in Japanese. I said, okay, what company is this? And then when Arc System popped up, Arc System Work is the company that made Guilty Gear.
Gotcha.
They did the Dragon Ball Fighters and stuff. I said, no, they're not. Don't tell me Arc System Works is doing a Marvel game. And next thing you know, you see Iron Man. And then next thing you know, it just went full anime. And now you have Iron Man and Captain America fighting each other and stuff. I'm like, what is going on? They're doing a versus game. And then next thing you know, while Captain America is doing a combo on Iron Man, next thing you know, Miss Marvel, the one with the stretchy arms, she comes out. I'm like, wait a minute, Miss Marvel? Like, what the hell is going on? This is a tag game? And next thing you know, Spider-Man comes out, and then they're all fighting, and then Spider-Man kicks Iron Man through a gate, and he falls through to the other side of the stage. And next thing you know, they're fighting in a different area of the stage. Then Star-Lord comes out. And then Ghost Rider tags in Ghost Rider. I say, yo, this is crazy. And then before you know it, they Ghost Rider hits one of the characters through the other side. Now they're in the alleyway and they're fighting. Then Dr. Doom comes out. I'm like, Dr. Doom, what the hell's going on? And then Storm comes out. I say, what is going on? And then it says 4v4 tag. It's a 4-man tag. I'm like, they're doing 4-man tag. I'm like, Marvel vs. Capcom, when Capcom did it, the highest they went was 3 men. Now they're doing 4-man tag. I was losing my mind. So yeah, and at the end it's called Marvel Fighting Token Souls.
I get it.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
So Japanese developers are working on it, cool. And it's awesome. I can't wait. It comes out 2026, so I'm looking forward to that.
And I thought playing Captain America and the Avengers on Sega Genesis in '96 was the height of my gaming career. Maybe I should go back and get a PS5 so I can play this game or whatever other system. Because I haven't played video games in a while, so I'm very rusty. I'm very rusty because the last thing I played was Xbox 360. To be perfectly honest with you, but I'm going back. I'm going back a little bit, but
that's still the best era. That's still the best era, bro. I mean, Like, bro,
you had all the SmackDown versus Raw video games. You had the James Bond video games. You had Halo, Reach, which was coming out at that point. I was like, man, this is hype, right? And I've met the voice actors of Master Chief and Cortana.
wow.
You know, Steve Downs and
yeah.
I forget who's Cortana? What's her name? Is it Jen Carlson? Something like that. But I met both of them, and they were very nice people, very very
Awesome,
nice. And Steve Downs, the voice of Master Chief, actually signed a fan art piece that I had from the Chalk Girl on Instagram. Follow at the Chalk Girl on Instagram. Everything she makes is from chalk.
Oh,
it's
wow.
insane. Her artwork is 5-star. So check her out at the Chalk Girl on Instagram, or there's another one I think she has called The Adventures of Chalk Girl. So check it out. #, always promote your friends. But outside of that, I didn't know this was a game, so I might get excited now. Billy Donut says Digimon Tamers, I think, was the peak in my opinion. Hellfire Gala themed. Yeah, the one that Lady J and her team put together was Hellfire Gala themed, with people dressing up and dinner events and festivities and all that kind of jazz. Billy Donut, that show was famous. Daz252 says Catherine Disher voiced Jill in the original Resident Evil 3, but she also voiced Jean Grey in the OG X-Men cartoons. Shit.
Okay. All right.
Damn.
So when they say Jill, I'm thinking about Jill from the first game. But that would make sense. Yeah, they went through different voices of Jill.
RE3, yeah. I was not aware of that. Lord Blaze Fire 1985. That's a long one. Yo, MugenLord. There you go.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Landon Art says to Mugen, it's time you get yourself a new camera. You keep freezing every few seconds here and there, but we can still hear him though, clear as day. So that's good.
Yeah, I don't think it's probably not my camera. It's probably my settings. I don't know what's been going on lately. With
freaky.
Yeah, it's been acting up. So, yeah,
you'll figure.
Settings. Yeah,
you're the man. You'll figure it out. Daz252 says, and Jubilee is Allison Court, Claire Redfield from Resident Evil. Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy. Let's see here. Landon Arts has a question for the two of us. They say, you have faith in the upcoming Fantastic Four or Superman movies that are coming out in the next few months? Well, I'll tell you this. Here's my 2 cents. As you can see, I got a Trinity shirt on from DC. You understand what I'm saying? So I am a diehard Superman fan. I have the TV series Smallville to thank for that. Thank you, Smallville. Love you, love you always. Love you for the day to the day I die. I'm curious to see where this new Superman movie is going to go. I'm going to see it. I'm going to keep an open mind, even though they got 50,000 characters in this movie, which concerns me to a great deal, even though it's James freaking Gunn who gave us Guardians of the Galaxy, which, by the way, not a James Gunn fan, and I'm not a Guardians fan. Sorry to say. I like Guardians of the Galaxy when they're in the Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, but outside of that, I just don't care. But Superman is my bread and butter. I'm a DC fan, hardcore. I like both DC and Marvel for different reasons. But if someone were to make me choose, Brian, I would say DC all day long. Curious to see where Superman's going to go. As far as Fantastic Four goes, I'll wait till it drops on Disney Plus. I'm in no rush. I don't really care. But what are your 2 cents on this, Brian? Are you excited for the upcoming Fantastic Four and Superman reboots?
No, I'm not excited for it neither. I mean, Marvel's been screwing up especially after Endgame. I don't want to get into it, but with all the social politics that Marvel and Hollywood has been going and interjecting into my favorite properties and stuff. So I kind of just checked out of a lot of the Marvel stuff, and they just haven't been good at all as far as the quality is concerned. But when it comes to Superman, and this whole reboot with James Gunn, at first I was like, you know what, let's give it a try. But then I keep going back, and James Gunn, when it comes to him, like he deconstructs a lot of characters. James Gunn has a habit of taking, like, you know, comic book characters and creating his own versions. They're not even close to the comic book counterparts. Same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, even though Guardians of the Galaxy is a fun movie to watch, but none of those characters are anything like the comics. Star-Lord is not Star-Lord at all. Rocky Raccoon is not Rocky Raccoon. A lot of those characters portrayed in the MCU are nothing like their comic book counterparts. So he deconstructs them and he makes them his own version and stuff. And this is where the confusion come in, because when people seen Marvel's Earth's Mightiest Heroes, or when people start to see the comic books of these characters, say, wait a minute, like, you know, Star-Lord is not the funny, you know, wisecracking guy. This guy is actually pretty serious and stuff like that. I think he's kind of boring and stuff like that. So people who don't know anything about Star-Lord and only see the MCU, they go in and see the actual comics and start disrespecting the comic counterparts and say, oh, the MCU version is better. And that's far from the truth and stuff. And then he did the same thing with the Suicide Squad. None of those characters act like any of their comic book counterparts. They're just made up versions that he made up. So now going into Superman, He's going to, in my personal opinion, he's going to deconstruct those characters as well, including Superman and stuff. And look at that trailer to Superman. I'm not hyped for it because to me, it seems like it's all over the place. It seems like there's so many ideas that's just clustered in there together. One minute he's fighting a big kaiju monster, then the next minute he's
making out with Lois Lane in the kitchen.
Making out with Lois Lane in the kitchen and stuff like that. Then you got all these other superheroes. It's supposed to be a Superman movie, but now we got Metamorpho in it,
Green Lantern, Hawk Girl.
Oh, I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I still don't get the actual premise.
Yeah,
of actually going
Lex
on.
Luthor's in it for good measure.
Crypto, the dog. Like, who actually Crypto? I thought Crypto was lame. I always thought Crypto was lame, and I hated Crypto.
Listen,
and now he's in the movie.
I don't get it. Listen, I'll be the first to tell you when he shows up in the teaser because Superman gets knocked out by the monster and he's laying in the middle of the Arctic, freezing his ass off, and all of a sudden he whistles, and this cloud of dust comes out, and it's the dog, and I'm like, wait a second. I remember Crypto from the Superboy cartoon from the 60s that I watched reruns of when I was a kid. And I didn't mind that because as a kid, you don't know, we don't know any better, right? Yeah. But when you're an adult who's more versed, at least to a certain extent, I am a bit more well-versed in the comic book history. Not all of it, of course, but still, it's like certain things need to be left on the page, whereas other things can be left in a movie. And I'm thinking to myself, and I said this to my friends as soon as the trailer dropped. I'm like, okay, listen, I'll tell you this right now. If he's in every scene, if Crypto is involved in some way, shape, or form in every other scene of the movie, frack this, I'm walking right out of the theater and I'm never coming back because I did not come here to watch a Crypto origin story. Okay, I don't care. Like, I do not care. So it does concern me. You got Hawkman, you got Hawk Girls, you got Green Lanterns, you got Metamorphos, you got Lex Luthors, don't get me wrong, you need a Luthor because Luthor. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, it's like having a Batman movie without it's hard. I mean, you can have Batman movies without the Joker, but it's difficult.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
but still, like without Batman, there is no Joker. Like without Superman, there is no Lex Luthor. So you have to have both, which I'm fine with. But at the same time, like you have a dog, and you have this, and you have that, and you have the other. You're adding 30,000 ingredients to this cake, and I don't want that. I want a straight up true blue Superman movie that's about Kal-El struggling with his dual identity and trying to figure out what to do about Lois Lane, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I want that shiznit. And am I going to get it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. The movie has not happened out yet. It remains to be seen. But I have concerns. Now, as far as Fantastic Four, Pedro Pascal is literally in every movie and TV show that's on the air right now. So it's like, what is listen, I love Mandalorian. I'm always going to love This Is the Way. All right? This is the way, Brian. This is the way. I'm always going to be a Mandalorian fan. But it's like, I don't see Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. What is going on here? It's weird for. And by the way, you get the White Widow from Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation / Fallout, whatever else she's in, to be, Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. And I'm like, but you're the Mission Impossible woman. What are you doing in this?
The casting was not. I'm not a fan of the casting, especially when they was holding the casting for the Fantastic Four a secret. And the moment they announced that Pascal was Reed Richards, I said, nope, I'm out.
And he's got a stash to prove it.
I was like, nope, I'm out. I said, already, they messed this up already. No thanks. So, yeah, I have no faith. I have no faith in it.
There you go. So I'll wait for me personally, I'll wait for Fantastic Four to drop on streaming if I care at that point. And then Superman, I will be there. Maybe not opening weekend necessarily because I don't mind going to the theater, but at the same time, like the opening weekends and some of the early weeks of a movie, especially one that's being hyped as this one, I don't want to be around too many people because I know people are going to be on their cell phones and I hate that. So I'm going to see it. And when I do see it, I'm going to bring a round table of people into my studio at the Anti-Quote Studios. We're going to have a spoiler-heavy review and discussion about Superman. Now, if Brian sees the movie and he wants to chime in, we'll save him a seat at the table. Who knows? It's up to the big guy here. But those are our 2 cents. Billy Donut says, for you, the Ranger Stop or Go Ranger Station to be on your birthday, that'll be a birthday to remember. Yeah. MugenLord is a gamer for sure. I've asked him what new gamers have been showing in his videos. Good Lord. Let's see. What's up? MugenLord says, life will change. I'm not familiar with this individual, but there you go. I still have a copy of the Ghost Rider game on PS2. Really?
Oh, wow. I forgot there was a game. Ghost Rider had a game.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that either about Marvel. Lord Blaze Fire 1985 says, are you a Philly Eagles fan? I don't know. Are you an Eagles fan? I live in Maryland, so technically I'm a Ravens fan.
Yeah, I'm a fan by default. Like I'm born and raised here. Yeah. I'm not really a sports guy. You know what I'm saying?
Neither am I.
But I'm a fan by default, though.
That's fair. That's fair. Daz252 says action figures. I hear I've got a collection of 6-inch dolls with what is that? Bayonetta, Jill Valentine, and Cammy. Holy crap! Okay, that's going back a minute. Let me see. Just those three, so I'm not boasting about what I have. They are my 3 favorite characters of all time in gaming. People will call me when all 3 are female. Wow. Okay. Let's see here. So many people are chiming in. I'm trying to keep track of this. I speak too much on it. It was Miss Marvel that Spider-Man kicked to the different area. Wow.
Yeah. So
that's it.
The Tokon Fighting Souls. Yeah.
Remember, Marvel isn't complete without a Deadpool. I don't care. I'm a Deadpool mark. Okay. Fair enough, man. I'm not a Deadpool fan. Sorry to disappoint, but I'm not. Daz says, OMG, the SmackDown video games, I loved those. That's what made me get the interwebs, just so I can play those. Well, hey, man, I grew up playing SmackDown video games on my PS1, PS2, and then they evolved into SmackDown versus... I grew up watching pro wrestling. That's why I know so much about some of the games and stuff like that. Did you watch any pro wrestling, Brian?
Yeah, I grew up watching like the earlier WWF. You know,
Razor the Attitude Era.
Yeah. No, Razor Ramon, Diesel, 1, 2, 3 Kid, Hulk Hogan, and all them. And then after a few years went by, WCW versus NWO for Nintendo 64 came out. And I saw Hulk Hogan in the morning. I said, man, I remember Hulk Hogan being WWF. I said, it was my first time I ever hearing about WCW with the Nintendo 64 game. We became such a big fan of WCW versus NWO on Nintendo 64. It made me want to go watch wrestling again. I haven't seen wrestling in years. So we went to go look for WCW, which came on channel. It was on Channel USA before it went to Channel TNT at the time on cable. And now me, my dad, and my brothers, we made it like a religion to watch it every Monday and every Thursday. My mom would make dinner and bring our food and everything. And on Monday and Thursday, Dad and me and my brothers would watch it with Dad. And since we played the games on Nintendo 64, we looking for like the characters that we play as in the 64 game to appear and stuff. So that's what got me back into wrestling because of the Nintendo 64 game. I haven't watched like the Attitude, the era in WWF yet.
Yeah, the Attitude Era.
The Attitude Era. I didn't get into any of that. I was more so into the WCW. Now, what got me back into WWF is when they stopped when the company Aki that made my favorite wrestling games for the 64, when they stopped making the WCW IP. Now they had the license to do WWF.
Right.
So now we started playing the Nintendo 64 version of WrestleMania 2000. No Mercy on the Nintendo 64. That made us convert over to WWF and start watching that because the games we were playing and stuff. So we stopped watching WCW, and at this time WCW I think was going through their problems at the time financially and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So during that time, I said, man, I wonder what happened to WCW. And stuff like that. So my cousins who watch and still watch wrestling faithfully. They was like, dude, you didn't know? Like WWF, they bought out WCW and ECW.
They bought it.
And I said, wait a minute, what do you mean they bought it out? He said they're all entire.
They're all under
the same umbrella. I said, dude, watch it right now. Turn it on right now. It was on Monday. So I turned it on. It was a all out war. It was people was wearing WWF shirts, and then you had the WCW and the ECW all in the ring fight.
The invasion.
I'm like, what the hell is this? And me, my dad, my brothers, we were losing our mind because we haven't watched wrestling in a minute. But now we're seeing all my favorite wrestlers from both sides. Now they're all in one. I'm like, what is going on? So yeah, that's when I started watching it a bit again before I fell off from watching it again after that. But yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. No, there were some good times in wrestling, man, for sure. There's certain memories and certain eras that will never be repeated because they were just so historic for their time.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that. And I played a lot of the games too, whether it's WCW NWO Revenge, whether it's Monday Nitro, whether it's Thunder on PlayStation, WCW NWO Thunder. All that stuff, man. All that stuff. It's good times. Talcum X says, "Sup, Brian?"
Oh yeah, what's up?
There you go. Lord Blaze 19 says, "I respect Superman, even though I'm more of a Batman fan." Listen, you can like both. It's okay. It's fine. There's no harm in that whatsoever. Is what I'm trying to say. Goodness gracious. Let's see here. Acres of Movie says, "Do you want a Shinobi movie? Should it have Easter eggs of Golden Axe?"
Oh man. Well, Sega said this is what they're trying to do. Actually, Shinobi actually is. They're planning. They're supposed to be planning actually a Shinobi movie. Sega trying to actually start licensing out and do movies. Starting with it was Sonic the Hedgehog, but they trying to do a Shinobi movie. They want to do Eternal Champions, and they want to do what was it? Was it Streets of Rage? I think it was. Yeah. I think, yeah. So they actually are an Ultra Beast. They want to do an Ultra Beast movie and everything. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they announce a Shinobi movie pretty soon. So.
Gotcha. Understandable. Lord Blaze says, I'm not down with the Superman hate wagon. In the past, I've been around Superman deranged fools. I'm glad I left him and went on to something else. All right. Daz252 says, yep, saying my favorite wrestler is Kane, the brother of The Undertaker. Okay. That's a good one right there. Yeah. The monster, Hellfire and Brimstone. I'm just saying. Knight of Nair says, I just got off work. Hey, y'all. All right. Good to see you, man. How you doing? Let's see. Lord Blaze 1985 says, without Superman, DC heroes would be all the goners. Who can stop Doomsday besides Superman? Well, Doomsday's not in this upcoming movie. It's a giant kaiju ripoff of a Godzilla movie or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
we'll
know
see. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that kaiju looked like it came out of a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, dude, I don't understand. I'm like, what am I watching in this trailer? It's just all over the place. It's like bipolar. Like.
It's a fair point. Landon Arts has a question for the panel. They say, important question. Who should be Zelda in the upcoming live-action Zelda movie? Zelda Williams, Robin Williams' daughter? Ooh, didn't think of that. Or Anya Taylor-Joy, who voiced Princess Peach in the Super Mario Brothers movie. And she was also in, she was the younger iteration of Furiosa, the Mad Max prequel, was Anya Taylor-Joy. So what do you think, Brian? Think someone like her can pull off a Zelda?
Oh, yeah. I mean, she does have acting chops, and also is like she's beautiful too. I think that's a plus, especially for princesses and stuff. I wouldn't mind her. I like the thing is, like, when it comes to these newer movies or when you're doing these live action movies to like these IPs and stuff, get some no names. I miss the era to where they constantly keep reusing the same celebrities over and over and
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah. Give us some no names. Start so these no names can build up to become the next celebrity or the next action star, or just the next star in general. So we can have a variety, in these casting and stuff. Because I'm getting tired of seeing the same people being casted in all these films. I want to see some new faces, some new talent and stuff, and allow them to mature into these films. Because especially when you got like stuff like Zelda, or you got the Marvel and DC films. These people are going to be in these roles for the next 5 to maybe 10 years. You know, and you're getting actors,
new faces.
You're getting actors, especially a lot of them was way past their proms. A lot of them are a lot older and stuff. And will they be able to stick around, for that long? So
we'll have to wait and see, man. What was I going to say earlier? Possibilities are endless. Once again, this is Freewheeling Fridays, and boy, have we been freewheeling this from the get. Don't forget with Brian Blackson Jr. of Vampire Killers. Hello. Don't forget to like and share with your closest friends. If you're watching us live on the replay, hello there. And if you have any questions or something that you want to continue to derail our conversation in the chat rooms, thanks for doing that. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. I don't mean this as an insult. I'm just joshing you guys. I appreciate everyone who has offered their 2 cents in the comment section below. We appreciate all of you. By the way, Landon Art says WCW was ballin' back in the day. Damn right they were.
Yeah, man.
When you're NWO for life.
Yeah,
all right?
Man.
I am a wolf. Let me tell you something, man. I started watching wrestling in 1998. Okay. And this is when the NWO Wolfpack brother, was at the peak of their power and the peak of their popularity. The first wrestler. This is a true story. I kid you not. And by the way, I'm sure those of you who are watching this or watching some of our other programs, you've had these moments when you go to a convention and you've waited so many years to meet someone and you're just like in awe of what you're seeing because you've waited so long. So the first wrestler that I saw, Brian, in my wrestling days was Big Sexy Kevin Nash, 7 feet, 315 pounds, master of the jackknife power bomb. All right. And remember, he's the guy who ended Goldberg's winning streak.
Yeah.
If it weren't for Kevin Nash, Goldberg would have been 174-0 at Starrcade 1998, which, by the way, was held in the arena in Washington, D.C., all right, where the Wizards play ball, all right? So I believe I can't remember if it's called the Verizon Center or something or other, or I can't remember. But anyway, It was the MCI Center. That's what it was called back then. I wish I was there physically, Brian, because I would have lost my effing mind. But I wasn't, unfortunately. But he was the first wrestler that I gravitated towards. And years later, I met Kevin Nash at GalaxyCon. All right. GalaxyCon is one of the bigger shows we have here on the East Coast, and they have them in other major. Are you familiar with GalaxyCon? Are you familiar with them?
No, I heard of it. Yeah, I heard of it. I just never been to it before. But
Okay, I got you. Well, it's all good. I was just wondering if you're familiar with the name. So I went there. I think it was GalaxyCon. I want to say it was Richmond, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I waited like 25 years to meet that son of a gun, man. Let me tell you, that was a long wait, Brian. That was a long wait.
Yeah.
But I waited, and I got to the front of his line because he didn't hear hardly anybody was at his table at this particular moment in time at that weekend. And I said, I brought like 6 things for him to sign. Okay, I had his WCW Superstar Series VHS tape, NWO for Life documentary Diva from WWF. I had a Super Shredder Funko Pop because he was the Super Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Used movie. Fun fact, he was the guy in the super suit. Okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was Super Shredder when he mutated at the end of the movie.
I didn't know that.
That was Kevin Nash.
Right. I didn't know that.
Fun fact. There you go. So he was that, and I had him sign the pop and everything else. And I told him how much, he meant to me when I was watching wrestling growing up. You were the first wrestler I liked. You were the first wrestler I enjoyed watching. And I am a hardcore Wolfpack fan. Always have been. Always will be. He appreciated that. And after the conversation, he's like, here, man, I'm going to give you this. And he gave me an 8x10 of when he was the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, walking out on Monday Nitro with the pyro going off, wearing his Wolfpack shirt. And he gave it to me for free.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, dude, that is... Come on, man. Wow. That's memories. Right. That's memories times a billion.
Yeah, I never met a wrestler in person, but I remember my dad.
You need to meet some of these big dogs, man.
Yeah. Speaking, because my dad, before my dad was,
your dad?
Yeah, before my dad was working for the school district.
Sure, yeah.
When we were young, when I was a kid, my dad used to be a pizza delivery man for Domino's.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So, my dad was had a delivery at this hotel down in Center City and everything.
Oh yeah.
When he went to the door, guess who opened? It was Hulk Hogan and Macho Man.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and they gave him a $40 tip a piece.
What?
When he got there, and Dad said, "Yeah, man, these dudes are like giants." Dad said his arm is like bigger than my damn head.
24-inch pythons, brother.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope right there. That's some serious power. That's awesome sauce right there is what we call it here in the business. But yeah, man, no, it's wrestling's got some good memories. I've met Sting, I've met Ric Flair, I've met Edge and Rey Mysterio Jr., met the Hardy Boys, Team Extreme. I met Lita, WWE Hall of Famer. The only from the female era of wrestling that I watched, I haven't met Trish Stratus yet. So
I was in love with Trish.
Dude, I got to make that happen at some point. It's got to happen.
I was in love with Trish.
Well, everybody was.
I was in love with
dude,
Trish.
we were getting stratified week after week after week after week after week after week, and she just. Anyway, we can go on a whole tangent about how beautiful she is, but anyway, that's another story for another day entirely. Let's see. Some people are chiming into the chat here. Landon Art says, "Well, WWF was Raw with the Attitude Era." Yep. Oh, Acre Movie says, "I want Altered Beast." Yeah, you can find it. Make My Cousin Vinny Part 2. No, that's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. I'll say I respect MugenLord. Our vision of gaming is the same, says Taz252. Who should direct a Metroid live action movie? Anybody? Just get a no name. No name.
Yeah. Look, man, like they were been trying to do a Metroid movie
years
ago. John Woo was supposed to be the director.
John Woo was gonna make it.
Yeah, John Woo.
Oh, I would have been down for that, man.
He was supposed to work on it, and at the time, this is years ago. They was looking to get Hilary Duff to be Samus at the time.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And
I still would have been down for it. Let's go.
Yeah, but it just never went anywhere and everything. And then recently, what's that chick name? I can't stand that actress. The one that plays Captain Marvel. What's her name?
Oh, Brie Larson. Larson.
She says she wants to be Samus. No, stay away. Get away from Samus. Like you do no. Stay away from her.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Just like in the words of Mean Girls, stop trying to make it happen, Gretchen. It's never going to happen. That's right. It's never going to happen. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's never going to. Brie Larson, you in another comic book based movie? It's never going, or a video game movie for that. It's never going to happen.
No.
Stop trying to make it happen, Brie. It's never going to happen. Anyway, Acres of Movies says, thanks for this fun program. Hey, listen, we aim to please at Freewheeling Friday as part of the Madness Entertainment Group. So there you go. Landon Art says, I want Hunter Schafer to be revealed as Zelda just to see MugenLord turn into the Black Hulk in Rage.
Oh no!
Oh God! Oh no!
No!
You're pushing too many buttons here, man. WCW games were fun back in the day. You're damn right they were. Wolfpack is my favorite WCW faction. Mine too.
That theme song, bro. That theme song was just everything.
Wolfpack's pack calls a mass destruction. Can't you see with the bad boys of wrestling? This is a competition because you know it's a tradition. Come on, man. Come on. You know the lyrics.
Yeah, bro. That was my theme song. And in fact, when it came to Philly, my uncles took me out to my actual first wrestling event, and that was the night where actually Wolfpack, Wolfpack was just came out, so I got a chance to actually see wrestling in person for the first time, and Wolfpack that same night. It was just awesome just to hear that theme in the at the center and stuff. It was just awesome, man.
Oh, that's ball. that's hashtag like a boss. Anyway, who was it? Daz252 says, yep, WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy were some of my favorite games. I've met Kevin Nash too sweet, says Lord Blaze Fire 1985. Yeah. Let's see, what else here? So many comments, so little time. No, not that one. Altered Beast scared me as a child, frack. Right? Vernon Hampton says, good evening, everybody. I'm just here to support you guys. Hey, thanks.
Oh, my boy Vernon. Yo, what's up?
Oh, Vernon's here. Okay, all right. So you know everybody tonight.
Yeah.
Lord Blaze says, Hillary Duff as Samus. Laugh out loud. I mean, hey, she was great in Agent Cody Banks, brother. If you've never seen the movie Agent Cody Banks, look at that movie and how drop-dead gorgeous she was back then. And even today, I think Hillary Duff is... Anyway, leave that for
yeah.
I'm just saying, man. Landon Arts has something I'm not going to... Vernon Hampton says Brie Larson, the very definition of pretty poison. Yeah, well, maybe she could play Poison Ivy in the new Batman movie. Who knows? Oh wait, that already happened with what's her face?
Uma Thurman.
Thanks. Yeah, she ruined. Yeah, well, not her, but the movie itself ruined Batman. So let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it. Knights of Near says, do you guys remember that live action Ghost in the Shell movie with ScarJo?
I hated it because I like I said, I'm a big fan of Ghost in the Shell. And,
you are?
In fact, Ghost in the Shell is one of the inspirations behind my, being surrounding comics, my comic book company and everything. So the fact is that they got Scarlett Jo. She's another actress I think is overrated. I mean,
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. Like to me, I think they could have got somebody better as Black Widow. I mean, she's just Scarlett Jo. Like I don't see,
really?
I don't see Romanoff. I don't see that character. I just see Scarlett Jo.
Not even in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, the greatest MCU solo movie of all time.
I love that movie, but I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan of her portrayal of the character at all. I just see Scarlett Jo. Yeah, I just see I just see Scarlett Jo. I don't see Black Widow. I just see Scarlett Jo. But
well, I'm going to respectfully disagree with some of the things you just said. But hey, we're both friends here, and we can agree to disagree because it happens with people online all the time. It's cool, man. I'm still your friend. Daz252 says, I've only seen with my own eyes X-Pac, Shelton Benjamin, The Juice, Rey Mysterio. They came to my town at one point. Hey, speaking of Rey Mysterio, the only reason I got a chance to meet Edge and Rey Mysterio is because we were at a house show one night. And my brothers and I were sitting, or my dad and my brothers, I think it was my brothers and I, were sitting in the second row. Like we were ringside, but we were like the second row. So we were behind the main, front aisle. But as soon as the match was over, I ran up to the guardrail. And as Rey Mysterio and Edge are walking towards the, the entryway to go back to the gorilla position, the backstage area, I said, hey, Edge. And then he finally turns around and he sees that I'm wearing an Edge head, not this one, but an Edge head t-shirt. Yeah. Edge head t-shirt, because that's what he called his fans, Edge heads. And him and Rey Mysterio ran back to me and gave me a five or I can't remember if it was a high five or a shaking of the hand, but I think Edge shook my hand and Rey Mysterio gave me a high five.
Wow, that's
and awesome. I'm like, dude, that's like I said, memories. You have to be there for yourself, man. You can't buy that. You just got to be there to experience it for reals. Let's see here. Someone had a casting announcement or not announcement, but a fantasy casting earlier. Vernon says, make Haley Atwell for Samus in a Metroid movie. Make it happen. I would be fine with it. I mean, Haley Atwell is one of the more drop-dead gorgeous women on the planet. So, and she's in the new Mission Impossible movies as the not the new leader of the IMF, but just a new agent. And Haley Atwell has played an agent before. Hello, Agent Carter. So, Haley Atwell can do no wrong. Do you think she could pull it off in a Metroid movie though?
Oh, she probably could. I mean, fun fact, if people didn't know, Samus, the Zero Suit Samus, the chick that's underneath the Samus suit, she was based. Her character was based after Kim Basinger, the chick that plays Vicky Vale in the
No
Michael Keaton
way.
Batman. Yeah, Samus
I did not
is
know
based.
that.
Yeah, her model and her look was based after her. I was like, oh wow, that's awesome. So. I was like, when I found that out, I was like, cool. And also, if you didn't know either, they took inspiration from the Aliens movies too for Metroid. That's why they named
Sure.
Ripley. Yeah, that's why you named Ripley after Ripley Scott. And everything. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
Uh-huh.
I did not know that. Fun facts. Man, I'm learning all kinds of new stuff tonight. Well, finally, we're going to kind of not derail, but get back on the rails because someone has a question that's for you, the incredible guest of honor who has way more knowledge than I could possibly fathom. The Watchman 13 says, what is your advice to other indie comic book creators out there?
Okay. All right. For starters, you have to go into it with realistic expectations. I think, and this for any kind of creator, even outside of comics and everything, when you're going to be a creator or you're trying to be a creator, don't try to look for instant results, because if you're trying to look for instant results, then you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be discouraged when you see things, when things appear that does not seem like it's going anywhere. And when you get to that point, you're going to eventually just fall off or just quit because you're expecting some instant results. No, this stuff takes time. Consistency matters. And as I would say too, get the network and get to know other creators as well. Get on as many platforms as possible so you get the people to be able to know that your comics actually exist. Because that's the problem. When you're an independent comic book creator, you can have an awesome book, awesome artwork and everything, but if people don't know that it exists, then what's the point? It's not going to get any traction and everything. So you have to put a lot of work, a lot of effort and grind when it comes to this. And sad to say, there's some people within the comic book space, the indie comic space, who are upset that there's a lot of YouTubers who are now becoming comic book creators and they're showing much more success than your average, bottom, like starting from the trenches creators. And they're upset because they have a bigger platform and they're already a known face and everything like that. And some of them find it not fair that you have to put yourself in front of a camera and you have to put yourself out there. And the thing is, if you're trying to sell indie comics, man, if you're an introvert or you're a person that don't like to be around a lot of people, then this is not for you. You're going to have to put yourself out there. I mean, if you are a comic book, if you're trying to get to the comic book space as far as an indie comic creator, man, make a YouTube channel. You have to go on social media like X and Facebook and Instagram. You have to put yourself out there so people get familiar with who you are as the creator, and also be familiar with your content that you're putting out. And your goal is to sell your IP, to convince everybody why people should give your comics a try or give your comics a chance. But you have to put yourself out there. There's a lot of people who just want to create but don't want to do the other work, which is actually the business side. Everybody wants to create but don't know the business side of it. So the thing is, if you're not a business person, well, you're going to have to learn how to be a business person, as you do this. And that takes a lot of work, especially me, for instance. I've been doing YouTube since 2006, 2007. I've been doing YouTube. And I've been around for some time. So I'm used to doing this stuff. But when you've never done a YouTube channel or you never put yourself out there before, this is all going to become like a shock to you and stuff. And it can be quite intimidating and quite frustrating. And even to me, who's been a veteran on YouTube and going out to conventions as MugenLord and Mugen TV and interviewing, game developers and producers and directors and stuff, and had them on my platform and stuff. Even then, this stuff is still a hard task. I got so many other responsibilities. I'm not only creating comics, I'm also a YouTuber. I'm also a streamer. I'm also a 3D hentai animator. I'm a gamer. I'm all kinds of other stuff, a dad and everything. So you have to prioritize your time and manage your time. But most importantly, if you're getting into indie comics, do not expect instant results. Stop looking at the 1% of people. Stop looking at people who just instantly got that success overnight. Like you're not Eric July, you're not Corey Kenshin, which is another YouTuber. this dude disappeared from YouTube. He has over a couple million subscribers. This dude disappeared for like 3 years and come back and say, hey guys, I'm dropping a manga or I'm dropping a comic book. And this dude made millions of dollars and stuff. You're not going to get that. That's unrealistic. And you're not going to ever get that as success. That's lightning in the bottle. So you have to be realistic, and you have to put the time in, and you'll see success over time. And you have to get a catalog of books. One book is not going to do it. Some get lucky that one book may strike it, but that's not everybody. So don't think that your one book that you put out, your first book, is going to be like this hit overnight and stuff. No, it takes time to manifest. It takes time that people know that it exists, and you have to build a catalog. Once you put out your second book sells your first book, because now people's going like, oh man, this looks interesting. Oh, there's a first issue. All right, I'm going to buy the first issue and the second issue. Then when the third book come out, oh, all right, I'm buying the third book, buying the second book, and I'm buying the first book. And some people don't jump into your series until you got a couple of books, because people don't know you're indie. So you're not. There's no promise that another book is going to come out. So people's not going to jump into your first book right away. They'll wait till you get a couple of books, then they'll jump in to see if it's worth the time and stuff. But yeah, that's my advice I would give you.
Great stuff. And the other thing was, that was going to be one of our questions anyway. So you said the Watchmen 13 kept us on the rails. Thanks, guys. I can't do this by myself. Gosh darn it. But no, great advice, great stuff. And having a good support system around you is key. So keep that around too. If you got people who are believing in what you're doing and they want to support you in any way that they can, surround yourself with those kind of people. Not the other ones who are going to stab you in the back and be out for themselves. No. Find people you can put in the words of Bobby De Niro, the circle of trust. Okay? Circle of trust, y'all. It works. Laura Blaze Fire says Hillary Duff is adorable for real. Yes, she is.
Yes.
And still is to this day.
Yeah.
She and I have the same birthday.
Oh, really?
We were born on the same day, the same year, the same time, all that jazz. And I'm like, why aren't we married, honey?
I always had a crush on her. Always had a crush on her.
I've had a crush on her since I saw that movie, Agent Cody Banks. Okay, so I've had a crush on her. So when did that come out anyway? 2003, I want to say.
No, I saw her on the Disney Channel. I think
it was Lizzie McGuire.
This
was after. This was like towards the end of her run as Lizzie McGuire when she started doing movies because she wanted to branch out. I'm sure her agent told her to do the same thing. Like, don't just do Disney stuff. Like, branch out. Because Agent Cody Banks was distributed by MGM, right? So when she was in that movie with Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle, I'm like, hey, this girl is not only attractive, I want to marry this. When's your birthday? And then when I found out that she and I were born on the exact same day and year and time and day, whatever, I'm just like, yeah, we're going to get married. But it hasn't happened yet. But one can always hope, right, guys? One can always hope. Landon Arts has a really bizarro question too. Ryan, do you like Little Caesars pizza? I mean, I've had it before. It was fine for a little while, and then I moved away from it, and now I'm eating something different, which is way better than Little Caesars pizza.
Oh, that's a joke. That's a little inside joke where we talking about pizza one time on my stream. Oh, and we was bringing up the different brands, and then somebody mentioned Little Caesars.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. I was like, yo, that pizza brand is trash. I said,
it's like not very good.
It tastes like cardboard.
Well, not only that, for me, it tastes like a sponge. It's like a really weird sponge. There's no taste to it. Nothing is crunchy. Everything is mushy.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yup.
They have the $5 hot and ready pizzas. They have the pepperoni. What do you call it? The pepperoni with pretzel.
Yeah. And you have to eat it that day. You can't microwave it later or anything. Like the moment you get that pizza, eat it right there. Because
and then when it gets cold, it's 10 times worse. So it doesn't help. It doesn't help. Let's see. Vernon says, aside from Florence Pugh in the MCU, who should be the new Black Widow? Just cast somebody we don't know.
Yeah, cast somebody we don't know. Yeah, just don't.
Florence Pugh is a good actress because she was in that wrestling biopic about Paige, Fighting with My Family, that the Dwayne The Rock Johnson produced. Did you ever see that?
Yeah. Well, wasn't that her first appearance?
That was like her first movie.
Yeah.
And she was great as Paige. I thought she did a great job. But after that, and she shows up in the MCU as the new Black Widow. Well, they're sort of. I don't even know what they're calling her. Are they calling her Black Widow, White Widow? And I'm just like, honey, you're beautiful, you're smart, but get out of the MCU and do something else.
Yeah.
All right. Do something else. Let's see here. What does it say? Acres the movie says the next Chucky movie should be he's in the medieval era and becomes king. King Chucky? No. No. Are you a horror fan? Are you a horror movie fan? I'm not the biggest fan of the horror genre, but I respect it.
Yeah, I respect it. There's some that I may watch. Like I grew up watching Halloween, Friday the 13th. What else?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, the Child's Play. But
which is
I
the
think,
Chucky movies.
Yeah. I think the only horror, I guess you would call it horror, that I actually do like because the story was Saw. I watched all the Saw films every Halloween, and the thing is, like, I'm not into the grotesque.
It's called torture porn.
Yeah, I'm not into that. I liked the plot. I'm like, yo, how are they going how are they going to catch this guy? Or at the end, because at the end of every Saw movie, there's always a plot twist at the end, and you're like, whoa, and that's what made me come back to watch them. I'm not really into the torture stuff, but I stick around to see how this is all going to come around. That's why I watched all of them. I like it. I really do.
Wow. Okay. Torture porn is not for me. I watched the first Saw movie, to be honest with you, Brian, and I couldn't sleep for a week. So thanks, studios, for giving me nightmares because you guys suck. Vernon Hampton says if it's from Rey Mysterio, it's a low 5. Yeah, because he's a short guy. I get it. He's not the tallest guy in the bunch. I get it. Angelina Jolie, according to Landon Arts, was perfect as Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider movies. We'll never get an accurate Lara Croft in live action ever again. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing I'll say about Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, just the character. I'm not talking about the movies, but as a character, the first one with Angelina Jolie, perfection. All right, perfect.
And that was my first introduction. That was my first introduction to her.
Oh, I knew who she was before the movie had come out, but I didn't really know too much about her. And then the movie came out.
I was mesmerized by her. Like, well, you can't get no better casting.
But two guns in short shorts with Angelina Jolie calling the shots, Brian. I mean, come on, man.
Bro, she's so she was so gorgeous. Still a gorgeous woman, but man, she was.
But back then, that was prime Jolie because you know the movie she did, but the year before. Here's a fun fact for you in Hollywood. There was a movie that came out before the other movie that was adapted from this, Without Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, I know.
Nicolas Cage and Angelina Jolie and Robert Duvall and Giovanni Ribisi and who was the other guy?
That was before
Shy McBride.
And
that came out the year before the Fast and the Furious dropped in 2001.
I never watched that movie. I've seen the trailers because everybody talked about how good that movie was. The only thing I heard about Going in 60 Seconds about Angelina Jolie, because he said they had a hard time with her because she always came to the set like high off of cocaine and stuff like that. Yeah.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. It was a lot. I was people were talking about when it came to that. They had a hard time with her on the set. She was like drugged up.
I think she was. She was going through a bit of a rough period too.
Yeah.
So, but sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that about her. But the other thing was when she was on set for Gone in 60 Seconds, I thought that was actually her hair that was blonde, but she was actually wearing a wig.
Oh,
because she shaved her head for a movie that she starred in a year or two prior. And her hair hadn't grown back yet, so they gave her a blonde wig and blue contacts in her eyes.
Oh wow!
I mean, she's still hot. I mean, she's still hot as hell.
Yeah.
But anyway, Lara Croft Tomb Raider that came out in 2001. That's a solid action movie. It's a solid movie. Period.
It is solid.
And the sequel, Cradle of Life, take it or leave it. But I will say this: have you seen the reboot of Tomb Raider, the movie that came out with Alicia Vikander from a couple of years ago?
Didn't bother.
Okay, well, I understand why. I can understand why. It's okay. It doesn't hold a candle to the original because we all know this. But it was okay to the point where I said at the end of this movie, because it set up a sequel, clearly it did. I'm like, listen, the first movie was a bit bumpy, but I know that there's potential here. And I like Alicia Vikander as an actress. I think she has a lot of potential here to embrace the character of Tomb Raider, of Lara Croft, I should say. Unfortunately, the film bombed and it never got the green light. Well, they were talking about making the sequel for a good while there, and it was in development heck, as one would call it, and then it never happened. So now I heard that Amazon is going to reboot Tomb Raider with a new actor, or should I say actress. Whoever they get, just get me a no-name, throw in a fresh new talent in there, and we'll have fun with it. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Let's see. Vernon says, you guys have yourselves a good night. I'm finally going to read my Vampire Killers comic. Like this video. Yes, thank you. Thanks for the cool. Well, thank Brian. Well, not to speak for Brian, but I'm sure he's going to say the magic words. Thank you for plugging my shit. Plugging my comics, man. Those are comics. I don't mean to say that your product is shit. I'm just.
I know what you mean.
Let's see. Who else? Some people have some. June of Wrath says, let's watch a Disney Channel movie. listen. The only DCOM, which stands for Disney Channel Original Movie, that I've seen that I even watched remotely liked was Motocross. Did you ever see that one?
No. Here's the thing about Disney Channel.
All right, check it out.
I was more of the Nickelodeon kid.
Hey,
in Disney.
I was there too, brother.
And the thing is, like, we didn't have the Disney Channel because you had to pay on cable. You had to pay
it was
for
cable.
that channel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the only time we watched Disney Channel is when in December they always have the 25 days of Christmas.
Yes.
And they would give you the Disney Channel for free or whatever like that. So it was around December we would watch a lot. We would catch up on all of the Disney stuff that they had. But it was only one Disney movie I watched, and it had Hilary Duff and another actress that was from Even Stevens. They were both in the movie together. It was a Disney film. I can't remember.
Was it Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, I think so. It was a movie. It was a movie though, but I can't remember what the name of it. It was years ago. But I think that's the only Disney movie that I've ever watched from like the Disney Channel and stuff. So.
All right, that beats me. Someone's gonna have to Google that and let us know. Lord Blaze Fire says Big Fat Liar with Frankie Muniz and Amanda Bynes. That's my movie. Okay, I haven't seen that one, but I've seen the trailer. I just never saw it. What's better, Camp Nowhere with Christopher Lloyd or Blank Check from Disney? I would say Camp Nowhere is the better of the two because Christopher Lloyd, Thomas F. Wilson had a mini Back to the Future reunion in that movie as the pro and antagonists in that movie when they were working the camp. And the kids who were working the camp, they were cool too. I like Camp Nowhere. It's kind of like that movie Heavyweights. It's a fun romp Disney movie. Did you ever see those movies, Brian? Camp Nowhere or Blank Check?
I seen them once when I was young, but I I vaguely remember it because I only seen them once. It wasn't like a repeat where I constantly watched it to remember it enough. So.
Oh, fair enough. The Crazy Bread of Little Caesars get out of here.
No.
I quit watching slasher movies. Okay. We talked about this earlier. What are your thoughts on the cast of Reed Richards? Yeah, Pedro Pascal. He's in too many things. Get him out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Should space noir be a subgenre? Sure, why not? I don't mind that. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. Let me see. Lord Blaze says I only look at vampire films. This is kind of random, but Kylie Minogue's Cammy in the Street Fighter movie from '94. What did we think of that? Listen. Street Fighter is a guilty pleasure.
I got it on DVD.
I'll do you one better. I got it on DVD and Blu-ray, baby.
Oh wow!
They re-released it on a Blu-ray Steelbook from Best Buy or whatever.
Really?
It was. And it's got the artwork of all the characters on it. And when I meet Ming-Na Wen, who played Chun-Li at a convention, I'm going to have her sign my Blu-ray cover.
Oh, awesome!
She's definitely got it's Ming-Na Wen, baby.
Yeah. Oh man, I was in love with her in that movie too.
Jeez, man, oh man. Let me. I'm not sure who this. Daz252 says something personal to me. What do you think about the changeover of the voice actors for Bayonetta?
Oh yeah, all right. Bayonetta is a game that's made by Platinum Games.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You probably seen her before, but probably don't even know her name. She's like this tall chick. She has these two pistols. She has glasses, and she's really really tall. And then her heels is guns, like pistols and stuff.
Oh,
you've probably seen her before. Yeah. If you see her, you'll know who she is. You probably just know her name and stuff. She's in pop culture history. What happened was I did a video on this. I think it's like 2 or 3 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. It was a video about the voice actress who voiced Bayonetta, this British voice actress.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, yeah. So what happened was So what happened was they was doing Bayonetta 3 because people were waiting like when are we gonna get the third game in the entry and stuff because it's been years since Bayonetta 2 or whatever. So Nintendo had finally announced that they're gonna be doing Bayonetta 3. So while everybody's getting excited, Platinum Games, Nintendo, they're doing their promotion of the game and everything. And then there was a later discussion that when people noticed when it came to find out about who's voicing who, they had another actress who voiced the female Shepard from Mass Effect. I can't remember her name, but she was taking over for the voice of Bayonetta. So people were upset. Was like, where's the original voice actress at for Bayonetta? Like people love her. So she finally comes out. The voice actress finally comes out and said that she turned down the role because they was only trying to pay her $4,000 for this big iconic role or whatever like that. So now everybody started attacking Platinum Games, the fan base and everything. So my audience want me to make a video to talk about it. So I pretty much said that, listen, $4,000. I said this situation, only $4,000 for this full entire game. I was like, I don't know about this. I said, I'm not going to draw any conclusions. When it comes to the situation, we got to hear what Platinum Games have to say about this. or whatever. So if I can remember correctly in my video, we found out that she actually lied. She actually demanded more money because the money they give her, they did give her $4,000, but it was $4,000 I think per session or something like that. But she worded it saying that she only got $4,000 for the entire job or whatever like that.
Oh, I got you.
And that was a complete lie. In fact, when they only gave her $4,000 because she asked for more money, they turned her down and said, you know what, we'll find another voice actress, but we do want you to at least voice Bayonetta from an alternate, multiverse version of her for this one scene, and we'll only give you $4,000 just for this one scene. So she took that aspect and tried to make it like it was for the whole job, but no. She demanded more money. She demanded and wanted more money. They told her no. So she go on the internet and try to get the crowd, the fan base to attack them. And we found out the truth that no, she was trying to push her luck to see how much more money that she can get. They didn't like the money that she was trying to get from them. They said no. They said, how about this? We'll make you you'll do the multiverse version of her for this scene. And we'll give you $4,000 and we can just go along your merry way and stuff. So yeah, she'll never get a voice acting job again after that spiel or whatever. And fans were fans were disappointed because why would you lie like that? And then then the money you was demanding, that was ridiculous. Like if I was a studio, I would do the same thing. I wouldn't hire you back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how that went.
That's a bummer. If I'm getting paid $4,000 per session, I will take that in stride.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, with how the things are in this economy today, I will take $4,000 any day of the week and twice on site just to walk into a studio and say, "What's up, y'all? You're watching so and so product." Or if I'm doing voiceover for video game, like I like Street Fighter, and I played Mortal Kombat as a kid, right? I played Mortal Kombat all the time, so like. If they want me to voice Johnny Cage or something like that, like, dude, get me on that train, son. I'm just saying, man, I will do it. By the way, Christian Freight says, "Hi, gentlemen. I love Stellar Blade so far."
Oh yeah. It's an okay game so far. I mean, the story is okay. The game, the presentation is beautiful. Visuals is beautiful. Oh my god, I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack to that game is amazing and stuff. But so the game overall is okay. The game overall is okay.
Fair enough. Let's see here. Hero Dark says, who would win in a fight, Cammy or Chun-Li from Street Fighter? Chun-Li's going to win all day.
Yeah, I would say Chun-Li.
I mean, I like Cammy. I like both characters in Street Fighter as the game and as the movie. Because, I mean, who doesn't like looking at Kylie Minogue or Ming-Na Wen, for Pete's sake? Mm-hmm. But if we're going just based on the video game characters, Chun-Li is still gonna beat Cammy every time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm just saying. Landon Arts has Street Fighter from '94 is one of my guilty. Oh my god! Along with Super Mario Brothers.
I got that on DVD. I got that on DVD too. Mario Brothers.
Hey Brian, just remember one thing: trust the fungus. I can't believe I just said that. I didn't know this about Julian McMahon. Christian says, did you know that Julian McMahon, who played Dr. Doom in those 2004, 2005 Fantastic Four movies, grew up reading Fantastic Four comics? I did not know that about Julian McMahon. That's cool.
That is cool.
That is cool. I like when actors, read the property they're about to tackle. I like people who do that. That's a modicum of. I mean, Henry Cavill did it when he played Superman and Man of Steel. So what's up? Don't worry, I won't bore you with how I'm a Man of Steel defender.
No, I like Man of Steel.
Okay, because I freaking love that movie, and I think Henry Cavill's a boss.
No, Henry Cavill, Cavill. Cavill. My problem, what makes me upset with the DCEU?
Bad writing,
bad writing, and it was so much potential left on the table.
Oh, damn right it was.
My only problem with Man of Steel was just the amount of mass destruction for his first outing as Superman. Like Metropolis was like decimated. It was like Avengers level type of action in his very first outing as Superman. Like in my personal opinion, I think they should have just started with Lex Luthor and the introduction of Kryptonite. That should have been done that way. The show it could have been a lesson learned for Superman. Like, yo, I'm not invincible. There's something out there that can hurt me. That can hurt me. So you could have had Lex Luthor, Metallo with the Kryptonite. That could have been the very first movie.
Small scale, not very big. Don't blow the whole budget.
Yeah, they blew their load with the first movie. Cause like, yo, when I first saw that movie, I was in dude, when we finally got a true Superman movie the way I want to see it.
2013, baby.
Bro, I loved it, but like I said before, it was just too massive scale for the first movie. Cause I said, yo, how can they compete with the next movie after what they did with this first movie? I'm like, man, but
there's some good Easter eggs in there too, because you had the LexCorp truck being blown up, and then you had them destroying a Wayne Enterprises satellite up there in space.
Yep.
And I said this to my friends after the movie had come out. I said, look, if they're going to incorporate other DC characters, because clearly they're setting this up for a cinematic universe, and they planted the seeds, which I thought was smart. Because don't throw everything into the fire, just plant the seeds. Yeah. The next movie, or in the next couple of movies, I think Bruce Wayne's first interaction with Clark Kent, because I think Bruce Wayne's going to figure out like who Clark Kent is. I think you should walk up to him one day and just the first thing that Bruce Wayne should have said to Kal-El or just Clark Kent, whatever, walked up to him and say, "You owe me a satellite." That would have been the best way to introduce Bruce Wayne to this iteration of Clark Kent by saying, "Clark Kent, nice to meet you, but I just want to let you know one thing. You owe me a satellite."
Yo, bro.
Dude, that would have been a killer way to introduce the character.
Yeah. And this is the thing. Like Mike, I'll say after the first movie, I was like, okay, I'm on board with this. I think my other disappointment is how his father, Pa Kent, died. I think
in the tornado.
I think that was stupid. And also I didn't like in Marvel started this with Iron Man, where they got rid of superhero identities. Like Lois, got what's the point of Clark Kent identity now when Lois meets Superman? Yeah, and
then he shows up at the end of the movie wearing a set of glasses.
Yeah, I said, what's the point? I what's the point? Like Clark Kent, like why do we have Clark Kent now? Like why? Like you. That kind of like disappointed me. Like she been hunting him, tracking him down and stuff. So, but overall, I still watch that movie. I run that movie. I love that movie. I love it. But then I said, I wonder what the sequel's going to be like. And then when they made the announcement, Batman versus
Comic-Con.
Yeah, I'm like Batman versus. I'm like, why are we doing this so soon? Like, can we just get a Batman movie first?
True, but you have to admit the announcement that was made in Hall H and the crowd losing their shit. And when you watch that footage, you can tell that if you were in that same room, you would have lost your shit.
Most definitely. The fanboy in me would, but then coming home and thinking about it over time, I'm like, we diving into this early. Like I want to get you to know this Batman. And before, I think that's what Marvel has set up really good. The solo movies, and the thing is, like, they don't have to copy them. Like the thing with DC did, they had a good blueprint is when they did Justice League, the animated movie, Justice League War. And Justice League War is where they introduced all the characters all in that first film. And for the first time or whatever like that. And the thing is, like, you didn't have to have heavy backstories of the characters, but it was executed so well where you was able to follow those characters' journey within that one film. So if they didn't want to do that approach, like what Marvel had done and stuff, it was just all about the execution. Then, like in Batman v Superman, you got introduced to Doomsday, then be doing the death of Superman in one film. I'm like, what do you like, Zach? Like, yo, somebody need to tell Zach to stop. Like, just
rein him in.
Yeah,
it's like a horse. You got to rein him in. Man.
Yeah, because he said in the interview, I was watching this one interview, he's talking about when he came with the decision to do Batman v Superman. He said the executives almost had a heart attack. I said, Batman, like, you want to do this? He said, yeah. In fact, I want to kill Superman. They're like, what? And they let him go with it. They let him go with it.
Creative freedom.
Yeah, I was like, no, that was and it Batman v Superman that was the domino effect. Since after that, it just like DC just started getting worse and worse with the films. I was like, I liked the Wonder Woman though. Wonder Woman was good. I fell asleep on Aquaman. Didn't like Aquaman.
Oh, I liked Aquaman.
I don't know. I just fell asleep. And the thing is, like, it wasn't a bad movie.
I was gonna say Aquaman. I like it a lot.
But
I'm just saying, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a badass dude with long hair, and you got the beard going. Then he drops down in that submarine and says, "Permission to come aboard," and then he just starts knocking guys out like crazy, And then what is it? He's drinking with the Boba Fett in the bar. His dad is Tamora Morrison, aka Jango Fett Boba Fett. And I'm just like, damn, like this family is no joke. And then those tough guys come up to him like, dude, can we get a selfie with you? Like it worked for me. It was fun. The first, I can't speak to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom because I never saw it, but the first Aquaman is very, very good to me. DC films to a certain point, very, very good to me. Anyway, once again, we are here with Brian Plaxton Jr. on this episode of Clearly, this is Freewheeling Fridays times a billion. Don't forget to like and share. If you have any questions or weird comments, because believe me, folks, I've read some of your weird comments. It's freaking me out. Let me know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. If you have questions, let us know. If you're watching us live or on Memorex, anybody remember Memorex? Hello there. Jennifer Hale was FemShep. Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Jennifer, yep. And she did the voice. She's the new voice actress to Bayonetta that replaced that replaced the original.
I feel like I've heard that name though. Jennifer Hale sounds so familiar to me.
Yeah, she does a lot of voices. She don't just do video games. She does cartoons and
I do
stuff
voices.
Like
what do you mean you do voices? Well, I do voices. And then that's Robin Williams going in his montage of Mrs. Doubtfire. By the way, here's a question to you, sir. Landon Art says, remember that campy show Salute Your Shorts from Nickelodeon back in the day? I do.
I'm trying to remember.
Camp on we hold you in our hearts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't remember too much of it.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
It was a fun show. But that's something going back to the what was I going to say? Going back to the olden times. Yeah. Let's see here. Did you know that DC Zatanna had her own 2003 webtoon written by Paul Dini and voiced by Tara Strong? She has an older brother named Damon.
No, I didn't know that.
I damn.
Yeah, Christian. He always come with the facts, like the fun facts and stuff like that.
Is that what we call Christian, the fun facts master?
He always had the fun facts.
You're gonna have to bring some of that to Anti-Quote Channel, Christian. Why don't you join us sometime? And Brian, you need to join us on Anti-Quote Channel too at some point.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
We got to get you on the set and talk some pop culture shiznit. Let's see. Watchman has a question. Scarlet Witch or Zatanna? Who you picking? I'm going with Zatanna because she has mystical and magic powers, and Scarlet Witch, yeah, she's a bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, especially if you saw that movie Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where she really lost her shit.
I haven't really got deep.
Zatanna.
Yeah, I haven't really got deep into Zatanna. Like our first introduction to her was the Batman the Animated Series, but I never really followed her. Like I did see her in the book that I read. Batman was Under the Red Hood. When Batman was.
That was a good animated movie too.
Yeah, I read the book first, then and got the film.
Dude, they're both good.
Yeah, they're really, really good. But I think Batman went to Zatanna in the comic was asking questions about death because he had a suspicion about the Red Hood. He couldn't put it. He couldn't put his finger on if it was Jason or not. But he was going around asking people, about death. And then he went to Superman and said, when you died, because we were death of Superman. What was death like and stuff? Because he's trying to, he don't want to jump to conclusion if that is actually Jason Todd that's under the Red Hood. So a lot of characters made cameos. Of course, the animated movie couldn't go into that farther detail because it's an animated movie. You have to,
and you only have 75 minutes.
Exactly. So yeah, there's a lot of cameos in that comic leading up
90 minutes.
Yeah, to the actual identity of the Red Hood and stuff. Yeah.
That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Christian says, did you know that there's a TVMA DC's Lobo webtoon from back in the year 2000? No. Christian, I don't know these things, okay? So stop asking. And then he says, Man of Steel reminds me of the Powerpuff Girls movie. Okay, now that's some real damage. Yeah, well, there was a lot of damage in that movie, I'll tell you that. Let's see. Daz, the multiverse was left fielded in the ending. Don't even get me started. Okay. Let's see. I think he means, is it Helena Taylor? Oh, still voiced Bayonetta in the third game. I think I would love it more. I don't know. I never played the games. A Flash film without Flash villains. Oh, boy. People are debating on who should play what. Let's see. Did you know, once again, Christian, that the character designer of Teen Titans 2003 also worked on an anime-style pilot for Go-Go Mobo Baby?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I don't understand any of this. You people in the chat are fascinating, but you're also really smart, and I don't get it. So help me out here, guys. Make an Avenger-style team-up movie with Captain Ron, Gordon Bombay, Coach Carter, Sister Act, and Big Mama's House? ? That would be
what?
That would be a bizarre. I was saying the Superman mythos. That's a bizarre movie of epic proportions if I ever heard one. That's weird. I don't know.
Oh my god.
I have no idea. Did you know that Tim Story, who directed the Fantastic Four movies in the 2000s, grew up reading the original comics? Screenwriter Mark Frost also collected Fantastic Four comics. Well, fine. I enjoyed the first one, Rise of the Silver Surfer, not so much.
Oh my
Brian,
god, that disappointed me so much. Damn.
Well, you can attest to that. There's a lot of DYK facts from Christian. Good Lord. Let's see. Are we all caught up on comments? Please tell me we are, guys, in the studio. No, we're not. So and so and so and so.
Yeah, that's my
Right.
crew.
What are your channel studio? Well, mine is Anti-Quote Channel, which you can see on my name tag. And then if someone wants to know more, even though we haven't done plugs yet, what YouTube channel is yours?
MugenLord. I'll put it in the private chat.
There you go.
Okay.
Man, there's going to be a few things we're going to put in the comments anyway. I'm going to put in here. Let's see. Can I put this in there? Where is it? Here's a link to Venus Orion Comics. You can find out more about them here in the comments section of this video. So there you go. Happy trails. Don't worry, I'll put that link in there too. I promise. I'll put it in there too, guys. Oh, Christian says I would love to be a guest. Well, I don't know if we can handle you because you got way too many fun facts that you're trying to show up here on the freaking channel. I don't even know if Brian and myself could handle you on our channels. Good God, man. Christian, you and I, we could talk shop later if you want. I don't know. Has he been a guest on your channel before, Brian?
No, with Christian, I've been on a podcast with him on another where me and him were both guests on somebody else's. My boy Leon, Words of Paradise. Okay. We was on his countercast. And that's the first time I was introduced to Christian, and he was just throwing out facts. During the podcast. I was like, oh wow. I didn't know that.
Jeez. That's a lot. Let's see. Watchman 13 says, would you say that the character of Green Lantern is one of the best things by DC Comics in general? I mean, I haven't read enough of his comics to say that.
I can't really get into Green Lantern.
Yeah, I don't know.
A ring that, you know, your imagination thing, and you can shape it to whatever. Like, I don't know. I just never found. I like their costume designs, but I was never a fan of Green Lantern. Like I don't know. I just don't find a ring that just shape things. Like I just never found their power. I never found Green Lantern powers interesting at all.
You know what they say, beats me. Well, here's something we're going to get back on the rails for. What would you say are some of your favorite comic book writers or artists, past or present, in your opinion, Brian?
I'm gonna be truthful with you. Growing up, I read comics, but I never looked at who was the writer or who was the artist behind the artwork. Growing up, so I wouldn't even be able to name you any writer or artist. The same thing when it comes to manga and anime. I just read the stuff or watch the stuff. I never.
You don't watch the credits? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah.
you don't read the credits in the book? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, same thing when I used to watch movies with directors and stuff. It wasn't until I started knowing a lot about directors when Christopher Nolan did really good with the Batman trilogy, and then that's when directors started really popping up, like, oh, produced by this or directed by that. And like Zack Snyder this and Zack Snyder that. But other than that, I watch my entertainment and I don't really think about the people behind, you know, that put this stuff together.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. Well, you mentioned some of your favorite comic based TV series, and you mentioned one or two, but do you have any other favorite comic based movies or TV series you haven't named as of yet?
Oh, all right. Now, TV series. I love the original Flash TV series.
John Wesley Shipp. No kidding.
Yeah. I enjoyed the hell out of that. And here's the thing.
That's a throwback.
This the funny thing about this. When CW finally came out with their, new take on the Flash, I said, what would be awesome is if they do an alternate multiverse of the original Flash and have him on there. And they end up doing that. And this was like season 1 when I mentioned that. And then the later seasons, they end up bringing the original Flash when they did their Crisis on Earth
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I was like, oh my God, like I wanted something like this because I thought the original Flash series was actually pretty good. And from what I remember, I think what really hurt that TV series, because it was, for its time, it was super expensive. It was super expensive to make that show, as far as the effects and stuff were concerned, and everything. So that's what really had hurt that film more than the series more than anything back in the day. It was a high budget for its time and everything. But I enjoyed. We used to watch it it used to come on in the evening, and me, my dad, my brothers, we used to watch that faithfully for dinner when Mom made dinner and stuff like that, and watch it. I love that. I had loved that TV show. Mm-hmm.
Nice, dude. Man, if you and I lived in the same neighborhood, we would have become fast friends.
For sure, bro.
Because we may not like every 30. We may not be diving into all 31 flavors of the stuff that we like, but we have enough common ground that we could be like, yo. Yeah. I like this, you like that. I can learn something from you, you learn something from me. We all and it evens out at the end of the day.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, man, we should have been. That would have been. I mean, granted, when I was growing up as a little kid in the cul-de-sac that we lived in, I had really good friends and I had really good neighbors. Don't get me wrong, But if I were living on the same street as you and a couple other
Yeah.
people I've had on my shows in the past, I've been doing my show and I quote channel for 5 years. So I've been in the game I've been in the game a good while now, and I've met some wonderful, talented people such as yourself, and other people too. Don't want to leave anybody hanging. But yeah, you and I would have become we're simpatico here. It would have worked.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to become an indie comic creator?
Good question. Okay. All right. So for starters, where the whole thing of doing the whole indie comic thing, the whole idea of Venus Orion Comics in general started way back in 5th grade, when I was sitting down in class, and like I said, I was a big gamer. I always wanted to grow up to be a game developer. That's something I always wanted to do. I love Japanese RPGs. I love Chrono Trigger. I love Final Fantasy. I love all those games. Suikoden. I love all those games because those games had left a big impression on me growing up playing those games. And especially when I got introduced to anime like Ghost in the Shell and many other animes, there was another thing that really left an imprint. And then, of course, Sonic the Hedgehog. Big Sonic the Hedgehog fan. So I always had this hell of an imagination. Like in 5th grade, we used to have journal time where we used to write in our journals, and we had to go in front of the class and read our journals out loud. And you only had to do a page. Me, man, I used to do 20 pages, and I used to come up with these wild stories and imaginations, and always used to get an A. And the class used to sit down. They would chuckle and laugh, but they were all into it. And even the teacher was into my stories and stuff. Automatic A. So I remember me and my cousin Tyree, we was both in 5th grade together. We had the same class together, me and my cousin, and he was also an artist. He was really, really good at art, especially at 5th grade at the time. He loved the Toriyama art style, the creator of Dragon Ball. And he used to draw a lot of Dragon Ball characters. So I said to him one day, I said, yo, I want to start a game company. And I want to release my first game console. And the name of the game console was called Venus Orion. I said, that's going to be the name of my game company. So I say, so he's like, yo, you want to need a mascot? What's your mascot going to be? Like, so I said, I'm a big Sonic fan. So my mascot was named Radical the Porcupine. And he was the mascot that he drew for my console. He did like a little like sketch of the console and my mascot and everything like that. So this was something I was always pondering. And then next thing you know, I'm writing my own superhero stories and like my animes and stuff. I'm writing them in my journal. So now we fast forward. I kind of like left it alone for a bit. It was in the back of my mind, Venus Orion. So now we fast forward to like 2020. We have the lockdowns and everything. And what happened was I was like, you know what? I want to start pursuing some of these ideas that I had in the past growing up. I love RPGs. I used to use the software called RPG Maker, where you create your own role-playing games and stuff like that. So I had a role-playing game series that I wanted to work on and everything. So everything was just I was just conjuring everything back up from my past. And I said, yo, I want to go out and pursue something. This is something different from me. Yeah, I'm a YouTuber, and people know me as MugenLord in my community and stuff like that. But I want to do something that I would pray leave an impact or leave an imprint, on society and on the rest of the world. Even when I'm gone and my bloodline continues to go, people will recognize, these characters and stories and everything. So I was like, you know what? Let me start digging. So I went back to my hard drive, started digging through a couple of things, started looking at some of my old scripts and ideas that I had. Then I looked at these photo sets. And the name of the folder was called VK, Variant Keller's Vampire Killers. Now, where did this idea come from? Well, when I went away at college back in 2005, in my freshman year, while I was there, my brother Keo, or Kevin, he had a best friend named Donnie. Donnie was a photography student. So he just got his first camera and he wanted to practice in photography. So he wanted to practice on his friends and family and stuff like that. So he set up his own little studio at his house. So my brother Kevin would go there, and when he would go there, he would take pictures of my brother and to learn the different lightings and everything like that. So my brother would take these badass poses and everything, and then after a while, his pictures started getting better and better. So I came home for break, for winter break, and my brother said, "Yo, you need to go around Donnie's house, take some pictures with us and stuff." So my brother showed me the pictures that he was taking. I was like, "Oh man, got the nice strobe light coming down, and you can't see the face and stuff like that to make it look mysterious and stuff." So it was kind of like making like movie posters and everything like that. So I ended up going around there and everything, and they had me put on different attire. So I was wearing this all black gothic, like outfit and stuff like that with the chains and the stuff like that. I had a replica katana and everything. Took those pictures. Then all of a sudden, my dad saw the pictures and said, "Oh man, like, yo, my sons look like badasses. You're like urban vampire hunters." I had the sword, had the gothic clothes and stuff. My brother had more of the street clothing and everything, the backwards fitted and stuff, and he had like the fighter gloves and stuff like that and everything. So then Donnie wanted my dad to come over and take some pictures. So my dad had the Chronicles of Riddick daggers and everything, and my dad's like really, really buff. He got all these muscles and stuff. So he's wearing a muscle shirt and everything, and he had the long dreads and stuff. And those shots came out pretty good. So then my dad thought about it. He said, "Oh man, y'all, the vampire killers, Variant Killers, vampire killers." So my dad came up with the name. So yeah, so 2020, I'm looking at all these photos and stuff. So I was like, yo, like, we were supposed to make a little web series when YouTube first started of Variant Killers, vampire killers. It never happened because I was in college and we could never find a time to try to get the schedule me and everything to actually shoot and stuff like that, because I'm on campus, I'm in Mansfield. So now in 2020, I'm looking through the folders and I was like, okay. I said I would love to bring Variant Killers, vampire killers to life. I'm thinking about a video game. That's what I'm thinking about at the time. So I was like, okay, let me look for an artist to take these images and make anime like pictures, like versions of these shots. So I was like, okay, let me get to looking. Now I'm sitting on a ton of cash because I'm a 3D hentai animator. All the arcades, I got a PS5, I got games, I got flat screen television and everything. I make a lot of money off of hentai. That's my side hustle. So I'm sitting on all this money, and I say, you know what? It's time. I want to take this money and invest into something of my own. So I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna look for an artist to take these pictures and draw them into anime style, and then we'll take it from there and see where it goes. And my God, it was the worst experience ever. I'm going on Twitter looking for artists. I'm paying these people, and these people are running away with my money, not even producing any pictures or anything. So now I'm hunting these people down to get my money back. I even ran to artist YouTubers who got an actual fan base, and I'm going to them because they do commissions and stuff like that. I'm paying these YouTubers, and they're walking away with my money. Like they're not even like this one person I paid. I didn't see them for 7 months. I didn't see them for 7 months. And I'm trying to track them down. I'm messaging them. They're ignoring me. They're removing my comments because now I have to go in the comment section. Yo, you took my money and stuff like that. So I had to talk. I found another artist who knew this person, and I threatened. I said, yo, I'm going to expose this person. So the person finally gave me back my money. Well, anyway, I got kind of discouraged. And then one day a YouTube ad popped up, and funny, YouTube ad that actually really like worked. A Fiverr popped up, and I saw the Fiverr ad and said, yeah, you can hire artists and all this other type of stuff like that. I'm like, hire artists. So like, all right, let me click on the ad. Took me to Fiverr, and man, it was like a haven full of artists of different unique styles, and there were some good artists there. But this one artist, her name's Chabibit, and well, that's her artist name, but her name's Jessica. She's from the Philippines, and I seen her artwork, and it stood out the most because it was different from everybody else's. Everybody else's artwork was good, but they're trying to mimic other people, like famous artists, like famous people that they know in the manga space and everything. So I pointed out hers. I saw hers. I said, this doesn't look like somebody else's stuff. This is like her own unique style. And it looks anime, but at the same time, it has that little bit of Western art appeal to it. So it's like a marriage between Eastern art and also Western art put together. I said, okay, I'm going with her. And I contacted her and I said, hey, do you think you can take these images of these shots and make them into anime characters? And she's like, yeah, I can do that. Okay. And like 4 days later, she came back with them, with young Rav, which is the main protagonist, Hezekiah Draven. Fun fact, his name was never Hezekiah Draven at first. It was just Young Rav. I didn't even have a real name for him just yet. So it was just Young Rav. It was Young Rav, Kyo, and Varian himself. Strike wasn't a thing yet. Fun fact, Strike wasn't a thing just yet, which is the youngest brother. He didn't come into the picture just yet. But anyway, so after that happened, she drew him up, and I was just amazed. And I said, I want to show my dad, my brothers. So I did like a little slideshow presentation, showed it to them. They had no idea what I was doing behind the scenes this whole time. So I showed it to them, and my brothers, my dad lost their mind. And my dad said, son, oh my God, this looks just like an anime. So, yo, we got to make this into an anime. I said, Dad, you're right. But then I'm like, man, but I said, anime is expensive. Like, to do animation, that's expensive. Like, how can I even approach that? So then I thought about it. I said, what if I start somewhere like that's an easier entry level to get into, get people to be familiar with the characters and the story and the lore, and then build my way up to eventually anime. So I thought about it. I said, how about I do a comic book or a manga or something like that? So my dad said, no, son, that's a good idea. So my whole goal is do comics, video games, and then anime. So that was the whole plan. That's the reason why I went to comics, because I can invest my money. That's a barrier of entry is a little bit lower than video games and actual animation and stuff like that. So I said, if I start with that, I love writing stories. So I said, this is a no-brainer for me. It says now I need a dedicated artist. So I started building a professional relationship with Jessica for over these years. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna do something better, Dad. I'm not going to just do a comic book of VK, Varion Keller's Vampire Killers. I'm gonna start a comic book company. So my dad was like, oh snap, like, oh no, that's a good idea, son. So you ever thought of a name? Like, you thought of a name of your comic book company? And that's when I went back to my childhood, Venus Orion. And instead of just Venus Orion, I decided to put comics at the end of it. So it was Venus Orion Comics. I said, I'm going with that name. So in 2021, I got the LLC for Venus Orion Comics. And I said, this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with this, start with comics, build off of this, and then eventually I'll be able to do video games. Because that's why I want to be a game developer. I still do want to be a game developer and everything. Go to video games, and then eventually hit anime, do animation and stuff. So as I started doing, coming up with the characters, started building on the characters, especially with Hezekiah Draven, Young Raph at first. I started building out the lore, the backstory, because I had no backstory for VK at all, for Varion Keller's Vampire Killers. These are just concepts. So as I sat down with it and started thinking about it, started thinking about the backstory of where these characters come from, where it all began. And then I had to come up with a location, and the location is going to be Philadelphia. But as I started building Philadelphia, started coming up, with Philadelphia and everything, I started introducing more and more characters. So it was this one character that I developed outside of the 4 cast members, which is Young Rav, Keo, Strike, and Varion, which is Hezekiah Draven, Caleb Draven, Isaiah Draven, and Varion Keller himself. The next character outside of them was Detective Bertelli. She was the detective in Philadelphia, who the readers was going to experience the story and be introduced to the Shadow World, which is my supernatural dark aspect of my Venus Orion Comics universe. You were going to be introduced to vampires, the Draven brothers, and everything through the eyes of Detective Bertelli. So you, the reader, was going to see through all this. So that's when Detective Bertelli came to be. So when I developed Detective Bertelli, I ended up developing another character named Jake Pierce. Now, Jake Pierce, he's like my equivalent. I got the poster back here in the background, right there. Jake Pierce. He's like my he's like my Punisher of my comic book universe. And Jake Pierce was a best friend of Detective Bertelli, where, like I said, his family got killed and stuff, and now she has to hunt down her own friend to try to bring him to justice and everything and stuff like that. So when I came up with Jake Pierce, I said, this has nothing to do with vampires and stuff. So I was like, man, I'm creating all these different characters that's unrelated to Varion Keller's Vampire Killers. That's what gave me the idea to say, you know what? I don't want to create separate like universes of these different stories. I said, why don't I just do what Marvel and DC does? You got Fantastic Four, you got X-Men, you got Iron Man, you got all these characters that share the same space. So I was like, okay, I got Jake Pierce now. I said, and now I got Varion Keller Vampire Killer characters. I said, you know what? Why not make a shared universe with all these different characters? So as I started developing the story in Philadelphia, I end up changing Philadelphia to a much more technologically advanced Philadelphia and end up coming up with Neo-Delphia. And Neo-Delphia end up taking its own type of identity. And when I have Neo-Delphia or whatever, Neo-Delphia is named after a corporation known as Neo Industries. Neo Industries had rebuilt Philadelphia after the Civil War that took place 200 years ago that divided America into Guardian states and freedom states. And as you read my universe and its stories and stuff, you get to understand what caused the Civil War and what divided the country and everything. But yes, when I created Neo-Delphia, which let me grab this real quick. Hold on. Let me grab this. Yeah, so let me get this for you. Better explain it this way. Grab that. So what you see here is my shared universe. This is phase 1. You know how like Marvel got the phases and stuff? Well, this is called, oh, there we go. Yeah. So yeah, this is phase 1, which is called the Foundation. The Foundation is what sets up my universe. It introduces the concepts and the mechanics of my universe. Now, these characters that you see here, each of these characters represent a different comic book series. So you got Varian Keller's Vampire Killers, which has Hezekiah Draven on the front. Then you got Photonic. He's from Alter Squad X. Then you got the Die Star champion Siona. And then you got Johnny Neo from Neo Suit Johnny. He's the grandson of Jonathan Neo from Neo Industries, and which the cities are named after: Neo-Delphia, Neo York City, and Neo San Fran. And then you got codename Viper and Cobra, which is 2 sisters who are mercenaries who's out for revenge. And then you have the Nation's Avatar, the Great Samaritan. And then you have the 8th Omni District, Omni Protocol, and then you have the Frequency Speedster Adrenaline. So yeah, each of these different comic book series are going to introduce various different mechanics of my universe, so you get a chance to get an understanding, to get to know how my universe operates, how it works, and eventually these characters will eventually meet, like in this universe. But as of right now, a lot of these stories are standalone, so they don't rely on each other. But there will be Easter eggs and world building elements to let you know where these stories fit in the timeline, to know like how these stories are parallel to each other and stuff like that. But you don't have to read VK to understand Alter Squad X. You don't have to read the Nation's Avatar, the Great Samaritan, to understand Neo Suit Johnny. But each of these comic book series is going to bring in different concepts, like especially when it comes to the Neo cities. You definitely want to find out more about the Neo cities when you read Neo Suit Johnny. You will know about how advanced technology had become in my universe, because my universe's history is completely different than the history of our real world. Different wars happened. Technology got much more advanced than our universe, so things are a little bit more advanced in 2025 than our 2025 and stuff like that. So you will find those things out when it comes to Neo Industries. As far as the Civil War is concerned, you're going to get tidbits of that throughout different books, different series, but you'll find out more about the Civil War when it comes to the Great Samaritan comic book series, where that's more of a political type of book that you'll get a chance to find out. In the Great Samaritan, pretty much every nation has their own nation's avatar, kind of like a super soldier. So you have Justin Emmett. He is the nation's avatar of the freedom states. And then you have other countries and nations. You have Japan got their own nation's avatar. And these people, Japan, Israel, Pakistan, Russia, all of them. So they use these nations' avatars to handle a lot of their political disputes. Instead of sending out boots on the ground at times, sometimes they send them out there for diplomacy and stuff like that. So it's going to be a whole lot of things surrounding that series as well. And I can't wait to dig into that. That's going to be quite exciting. And then, like I said, of course, when you get into the 8th Omni District, which with Faith Tanaka, this chick over here, you're going to get into the Guardian States and how the Guardian States work. Because like I said, Neo-Delphia is part of the Guardian system that that got implemented after the Guardian War, which is the Civil War that took place 200 years ago. So in Neo-Delphia, where the story of VK take place at, Neo-Delphia is more like a dystopian type of advanced city where it's a surveillance city where everybody wears a Guardian either wristband or they have to have an app on their phone, and everybody has a Guardian score and being watched. So if you do anything like speak against the government or any the Guardian government and stuff like that, you would get a reduction in your Guardian score. And if it gets too low, then they take you away. You get rehabilitated and stuff like that. And also there's things that encourage people to increase their scores. And the lower your score, you lose access to certain privileges in the city and stuff like that. So in VK, you can only imagine like how does vampires themselves like maneuver in Neo-Delphia, in the series Varian Keller's Vampire Killers. Now, when it comes to this story right here, the first issue, Hezekiah Draven right now, because what happens is he's out for revenge. He's going after this vampire named Alan Fleck, who's also known in the Shadow World as the Flamebringer. And you'll find out why he got that nickname and all those other type of things as the story progress. And the reason why he's after him because he killed two of his mentors named Lionel Washington and Rosalie Baxter. Now, what happened was after those two were killed, his brothers, Hezekiah Draven and his two brothers, Keo and Strike, they had woke up in the Penn Institute facility. They don't know how they got there or whatever like that. They don't have any of their memories or anything. But these two scientists were trying to piece their memories and who they are back together. And that's when the Penn Institute was invaded by Alan Fleck and his crew of vampires. They came in and slaughtered everybody. But they came there looking for an item of interest that he was there specifically to retrieve. And as a result, Lionel and Rosalie got killed in the process. But while the vampires invading the place, the Draven brothers, which is the three brothers, for some strange reason, their abilities kicked in. And now they're killing vampires. They don't know how they're able to fight. They don't know how they know any of these things. But they slaughtered all the vampires, but it was too late for Lionel and Rosalie, and Alan Fleck got away. When you look up, Varian Keller shows up. How did Varian Keller know to show up there? You're going to find out in this arc. You'll get that backstory and find out how he ended up at the Penn Institute to find the brothers and everything. He seen the potential in the brothers. He took them in, and he wanted to train them. The reason why he wanted to train them is because Varian Keller is on his own mission. He works for this organization called Third Echelon. If you need like an equivalence, so you can understand what Third Echelon is. Third Echelon is like my version of SHIELD. Just to give you an example. SHIELD,
I gotcha.
Yeah. So he, one of his colleagues named Dread Dealer was murdered. Now, Dread Dealer was doing some digging in Neo-Delphia, and as he started doing some digging, it got him in trouble, and he got killed. And when he died, he left a dead man switch that specifically was meant for Varian himself. Varian got the dead man switch, and he wants to know and figure out who killed him, because now he's trying to investigate his death, but Third Echelon won't allow him to do that. So now he needs eyes and ears to go out and do these things for him, because Third Echelon is also keeping an eye on Varian himself, which is where the Draven brothers come in. So now it's like a deal. Look, I'll help and train you to become the best vampire slayers as possible, and make sure you're well prepared and well equipped for the next encounter whenever you run into Alan Fleck, and I will help you find Alan Fleck to get your revenge. But in return, I'm going to need you to be my eyes and ears on the ground to help me solve this murder. And what the hell is going on in Neo-Delphia itself? Something is going on. Something nefarious is going on, and it needs to be found out. And I need to find out who's responsible for killing my best friend, Dread Dealer. So this opens up where Hezekiah runs off on his own, because as time goes along, Varian hasn't been keeping up his end of the deal. And now Hezekiah is getting frustrated because he's saying, yo, we're running around doing everything for Varian, but not one time has he ran out or helped us find Alan Fleck or whatever like that. So now he's taking it upon himself, but he don't want to get his brothers involved because he's the oldest brother. He loves his brother. He don't want his brothers to get in trouble with him. He's going to do it himself. So pretty much the brothers are not in this issue. It's only focusing on him. His brothers are out running the mission for Varian as they were supposed to. So he's out here, and Varian Keller has no idea that Hezekiah is out here doing a side mission. So Techlock, who's also part of the group that Varian put together called the Retributes, which you'll meet those other Retribute members in my promotion. I just revealed one of the members, Dr. Yolanda Briggs. I just revealed her a couple days ago, but you're going to meet the other members pretty soon during my promotion leading up to chapter 2 or issue 2. So Techlock was like, all right, I don't want Hezekiah going out here by himself. I'm going to look up and I'll try to find out any leads to Island Flat, which they end up finding out that Jasmine Mitchell, which is the chick that Hezekiah main mission is to look for in this chapter, she has some connection to Island Flat. So that's where he's headed off to. And what happens what awaits him when he runs into Jasmine. And that's what this issue pretty much is. And I started the campaign in January of this year. And I wanted a goal of $4,000, but I ended up reaching $7,000 instead.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
7 G's? That's a good sandwich right there. That's better than 4 G's worth of sandwiches there, bro. That's a lot of Philly cheesesteaks you can get yourself.
Yeah, so what happened was I decided to take a different approach. This wasn't a crowdfund. I paid this money out of my pocket to get the book done first. And all this campaign is a pre-order.
I got you.
Yeah, you put in money down, and that money is used to print these books up and to cover the shipping, to ship it out to you. And what's left over goes back to Venus Orion Comics and get reinvested, and I can be able to take some of that money and put towards financing the next book and everything. So yeah, I was not expecting this book to shoot past the goal and everything. And everybody was pleased with this. They got their hands on the book. I love the reviews, and my God, not spoiling anything, but all I want to say is this: when people finally got the books in their hands, because if you back the physical edition, which is this cover A, you also got the digital for free. So 2 weeks or like a week before fulfillment, I sent out the digital first, so you can read the digital before I ship out and package and ship out the physical version, so people got a chance to read the digital version. And my God, when I say people were like, dude, what the hell? Like that cliffhanger.
They lost their shit, didn't they?
Yeah, that cliffhanger. People were like, no, dude, like, this is screwed. But like, how are you going to just end it like that? Now I got to hop into chapter 2.
Give me chapter 2 now.
Yeah, give me chapter 2, because dude, like,
you're very hungry.
Yeah, how you want to set it up like this and then you want to end it like this, especially after I spent the whole time promoting characters leading up to the launch, and people started becoming fans of certain characters, and then people were like, dude, like, why? Like, no. No, like, so that was good. I liked that response that people had responded and reacted to when it came to this. Also, when it came to the campaign, for those who backed the book, let me sit this down for a second. And grab this right here. Yeah, so if you backed the campaign, you had variant covers that was only exclusive to the campaign that you were able to get. So this is like your standard cover A right here. Yep. And then you had your cover B. This was cover B. This was like the face portrait of Hezekiah Draven. This is going to be like a series for cover Bs for VK. So every cover B is going to be like a different face portrait of a different character.
I dig it.
So you better collect the different characters and stuff like that. And, yep.
Get 2 copies, one to read and one to put up on your wall.
Yeah. And then cover C, right here, my monochrome.
Monochrome. That's a word I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, that has Hezekiah Draven, and my artist Jessica, man, she's just phenomenal. So this is your cover C. Everybody really liked this cover, really enjoyed this cover and everything.
Yeah, it's very sharp, no pun intended.
And then the cover that had the most signed, because people got their copy signed, but the one that got the most signed was cover D. This was $30. Cover D. Oops, grab this. Take this. I have to open this real quick so you can see this. And the reason why I covered D, this is also serious. It's like my manga. It's like my manga approach, drawing. And when you open it, it's a full spread. So it makes a full picture when you open it. Now,
I dig it.
Now, what I do with cover Ds is cover D, I leave little hints that foreshadows things in the book.
Oh, Easter eggs.
Or it foreshadows future events that's going to soon to come. So after you read this chapter, go back and thoroughly look through this to see what the actual clue is. And then you won't be surprised about that ending of the cliffhanger. Then you won't be surprised. And what I liked about it was that people on my Discord said, dude, the answer was sitting right in front of my face the entire time. How did I not see that? So my artist did a good job of putting that clue there. And even my father, who read the book numerous of times and looked at this cover and didn't notice that the hint was sitting right in front of their face. So yeah, so those who missed out on this, sad, but yeah, this is very interactive, and that's what I try to go for. Also, this is the artwork right here for the book. High quality print is go with gloss. Colors very vibrant. They pop.
There you
out.
go.
They pop out and everything. That's why, yes, it's pretty. You can be able to, if you missed the book, you can get cover A on my website.
There you go.
At the store, it's $16 plus shipping, and the only reason why it's $16 is because, like I said, this print is expensive. I want a high quality print, so I have to make a profit or something off of it somehow.
So you pull a John Hammond. We spend no expense.
Yeah. I care about my readers' reading experience. And everything that people always say is like, yo, man,
you want the
page,
best.
I want the best.
You want the best.
Exactly. So the pages, like, man, everybody who reviews say, yo, the colors, the quality of the paper. Yeah, I don't play around. I do not play around with this. So that's why the book can be it might be a bit pricey for some people, $16 plus shipping, but it's totally worth it if you want to get and give my universe a try. But you can still buy the digital, which is $5. So if you want to just give it a chance, give it a try, the digital is on my website for only $5. So if this is not in your price range for now, the book itself, you can just get the digital for $5.
That's not bad, because as we all know in the economy right now, the struggle is real, guys.
Yeah. So hit $5, and the moment you hit that order button, you get the link straight to the digital. You get it right then and there. So you'll be able to read it right then and there on the store itself. Also, too, I have a special store variant.
Oh, look at
variant
this
cover. Yeah, it's called Trigger. This is called the Trigger cover.
That's not creepy at all. It's going to give me nightmares tonight. Thanks, Brian.
So it has Jasmine. It has Jasmine on the front. It has Hezekiah Draven right here, and it has Nolan Brett. As I said before, Jasmine's a chick that Hezekiah is looking for, because she has some connection to Island Fleck in some way. So you have to find out. And like I said, all my, like, when it comes to my promotional stuff, like covers and everything, I'm always going to leave some type of Easter egg or some hint or clues that could potentially lead to something in my universe or the comic series that you're reading. So trigger means something. The word trigger at the top. Variant Keller, Vampire Killers, but I made trigger had to be the biggest word, because that's the thing that I want people to focus on. And then when you open and you look in the back, Threnody, that's another word that you can look up and see what relation or connection this may have with the series or this chapter itself. And then this mysterious woman, and you would, like, if you read the book, you're gonna be asking questions. But this mysterious woman right here, and then one thing I like about creating my own universe, you can create your own religion and stuff like that. So in my universe is this religion called the Elohim Doctrine and everything. So yeah, so you have a scripture from the Elohim doctrine. You have
respect. There you go.
You have a scripture, and this scripture is in relation to her.
Okay.
And so definitely, so this store covers is $20. It's a special, it's a special cover.
Not too shabs. That you
can only get from the store itself. Can't get it anywhere else. Wow. Only my store. Another thing too. My prices for my books are a bit cheaper if you meet me in person at cons. So instead of paying $16, you're paying $10. Yeah. So if you ever see me at a con, this won't be 16. This will be $10. You better get this for $10.
Bro, that's sick.
Yeah, you better get this for $10. So a lot of people that came at Die Geekdom Con, they came and said, "Yo, give me that." Like this,
let's go.
But first he said, "You know what? Like I'll go on the website and get it or whatever like that." But when they seen like, "Oh, it's 16 on the website, but it's $10 here," I might as well just grab it here. Like, all right, I'll grab it right now, and people will grab it there. So yeah, if you ever happen to see me at a con, that is the better deal to get it while you at the con.
Yeah,
it's cheaper. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Is there a best friends discount for me? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joshing you. I'm joshing.
And then of course, I believe in my vision so much. I got an arcade stick with my characters on it.
Good God.
Yeah, my artist, she drew the characters on here.
Ooh.
Now this collection of characters, they formulated a team called the Valiant Ascenders. They're like my Justice League or Avengers. So the characters some of the characters you've seen on my on the poster that I had with the phase on it, some of them are going to eventually come together as one team. You have Siona right here, you have the Great Samaritan, you have Hezekiah Draven, you have Burnout, you have Rupture, and you have Adrenaline, which is my Frequency Speedster character, and then you have Princess Adex. And she's from my phase 2. Phase 2, we're going cosmic. We're going to the cosmic aspect of my universe. So I already got plans, for my cosmic characters. And to kick off the cosmic characters is my dad's characters. Like I told you, my dad was into Marvel Comics and stuff, but he was also an artist. He wanted to work for Marvel and everything. So he was doing submissions. He wanted to, work for Marvel. So he used to draw a lot of Marvel characters and panels and stuff growing up. And on the side, he made his own original characters. And Princess Adex, the chick right here, that's one of his characters. And what I did was I found my dad's old sketchbook, took some pictures of it with my cell phone, showed it to my artist and said, draw in an anime style, and showed my dad his characters, Princess Adex and Lazarus, both of his characters. And my dad almost cried. And I said, "Dad, I want your characters to be part of my universe." So now Dad is on board with me. Like this
is a family affair if I ever heard one.
Yeah. So his rogue gallery of villains, they're all part of my universe now. And when we get to his series, Lazarus and then Princess Adex, with phase 2, my dad is going to have a heavy influence because I want to bring his vision to life as well. So yeah, man, that's pretty much the pitch for VS Orion Comics, man. I really have faith in this. These other pictures right here, my characters from. Well, this one's a spoiler. No one's really supposed to see this.
No,
that's later on in the future.
Yeah, don't tell us.
Yeah. And then Ultra Squad X, which they are my aberrants. Aberrants are equivalent to mutants in my universe.
So like X-Men.
Like X-Men, yeah.
Or New Mutants.
New Mutants, yeah. So that's so it's like a cross between X-Men and My Heroes Academia.
Oh, MHA, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, it's like a cross between those two and stuff like that. But yeah, cool. Man, this I've been at this since 2020, man, and
feels like a lot longer.
Yeah.
You just I mean, I asked you a question like what inspired you to become an indie comic creator 50 minutes ago, and 50 minutes later you've told us the whole like and I don't mean this as a negative. I'm just thinking to myself, there's a couple of comic creators that I know of in the business that put together a universe as established as like almost as, or if not pretty much the same level as you. Like they've thought this out very thoroughly. They got all these ideas, they got all these characters, they got support of their family, they got support of loved ones, family or friends, right? Friends, all these different things. The names that come to my mind, and by the way, for those of you in the comments of the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. So Brian Blackson Jr. clearly has a 5,000-year plan that's not going anywhere. Carissa Grant has a plan that's not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't know if you're familiar with WorthyChaosComics.com, but if you're not, you may want to dive into that one. She's got like a 5,000-year plan, somewhat similar to yours. In terms of a plan, I'm not saying the same genre, but
I know what you mean. Yeah.
She's got her own thing going on, which is cool. She's into horror, so she likes like supernatural stuff, like Supernatural meets Resident Evil meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Look at WorthyChaosComics.com, you'll like it. And then I think Lori Calcaterra has a universe that she's building as well with Path of the Pale Rider as a Western horror series that she's got going on. Feel free to look her up, Path of the Pale Rider.com, maybe the website. If not, I can Pops, you know what I'm talking about. You can always text myself so I can text Brian. What is going on here? Good Lord. Oh my gosh. But dude, couple things. One, that's some serious creativity we got going here. Secondly, my brain cannot begin to fathom all 50,000 things you just said. And I don't mean that as a negative, because you explained a lot. It's a lot to take in. And clearly you've thought about this for a long, long time. You've had these ideas since you were a young Padawan learner, long before you became a Jedi. And dude, you and the other thing was, you said it yourself, you went through a business ordeal where things didn't work out the first time around and you were kind of discouraged, right? You had some issue, you had some problems, creative differences came up, whatever it was, but you persevered through it, man. You persevered. And I feel like if I could describe you in a couple of different words here, one of them is your perseverance is key with you, man. You persevere. It doesn't matter what gets you. You just keep pushing, right? You keep pushing. In the words of, because I'm sure you've seen the movie Batman Begins, right?
Yeah. I love that movie.
Dude, you clearly exemplify what Alfred was telling Bruce towards the end of the movie. Why do we fall, sir? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up. Dude, you picked yourself up after that one sour business deal, and you've just been beating the shit out of all your naysayers and laying the smackdown on evildoers' candy ass, because, man, you got a million things going for you, and all I can say is this. Congratulations. That's number one, okay? Number two, I really hope that you and I cross paths at a convention one time so we can keep diving into this shiznit, because I've met a lot of people in my life. I mean, listen, you and I are the same age. With all due respect, folks, we're 38. We're young, but still. I've met a lot of people in my day, pal. But you, sir, you clearly are one of the most creative, like, just go-getter, persevere, don't quit, keep pushing until it hurts. Like, you're one of the coolest creative people I've ever seen in my career.
Oh, wow. Thanks, man.
No, honestly, I've been on this earth for 38 years. I've been a podcaster for 5 years. I did some stuff before this, just so you're aware. But that was this is like during the early days of long before podcasting was ever a thing. I was cutting my teeth with friends at a broadcasting school back in 2007. So I toyed with it for a little bit, and then it went away. And then when I was in college, some people at my college said, "Hey, we want to recruit you for this YouTube channel," which at the beginning we were called Nerd Culture, just so you're aware. And then a couple years later, after COVID stopped and people started going back to work and they went to school, they gave me the keys, and I renamed it And I Quote Channel, because the show I was doing at that time, I called it And I Quote, because I'm so used to quoting movies. I can quote movies pretty well, if you haven't noticed.
I noticed.
And it's a thing that people say when you're a journalist or you're a storyteller. You say to someone, and I quote, this is what happened, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for a long time, man. I'm doing this 5 years. 5 years may not seem like much, but when you've done as many shows as I've had, I've met a lot of peeps, all right? But you, in the words of Pulp Fiction, you're a badass motherfracker. You are just, you are Jules, Vincent, Butch, like all the characters of Pulp Fiction on steroids. And I mean that, in a respectable, positive way is what I'm saying. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just are killing it in so many avenues. You want to do comics, you want to do video games, you want to do animation, graphics, design, whatever it is. Dude, congratulations. Honestly, I wish you nothing but success.
Thanks,
all of it. You, your dad, your artist from, you said she's from the Philippines? Is that it?
Yeah.
Dude, that you got a great team behind you, and you got a lot of ideas that you're just going to push forward. No matter what people say, you're going to continue to do this as much as you can, right? So my hats are off to you, sir. That's what I'm trying to. I know I'm beating around the bush a little bit here, but dude, you're a badass motherfracker. Seriously, you were Jerry Maguiring the shit out of this. Honestly, show me the money, Brian, because you have the willpower, you have the money, and you are just killing it. And the words are like that theme song that Shane McMahon walked out to when he was in the WWE. Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money. Money. Dollar, dollar. Like you could just, I can honestly see you as that. That's either going to be one of your entrance themes or one of something's going to give is what I'm saying. But do you see what I'm saying? Overall, I wish you success, and I want to say congratulations. Man. You went into a very long dissertation, but I appreciate it nonetheless because I don't know any of this stuff. Like this is me. Just to give everyone a little behind the scenes. This is the first time that you and I have met each other, and to learn from you and hear what you're developing and putting into practice and doing all this stuff. It's like, damn. And I thought me just writing short stories was enough, but you are going 50,000 the extra mile, whereas I'm just a short story writer right now. I started getting back into writing recently, and I'm writing short stories because that's the best way to dip your toes into the pool and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Right. And I've had fun with that. I don't have a problem writing short stories. And by the way, once you get this stuff off the ground and you need a voiceover actor, let me know.
No, bro, most definitely.
Like, hit me up, man. I'm happy to help you in any way, shape, or form that I can.
Yeah, I actually got a trailer. My trailer has voice acting in it because I was hiring voice actors. I'm still looking for voice actors, so for characters and stuff. So when I put up auditions, or if I need you to do like voices for like trailers and stuff, I definitely would definitely hit you up, and I will pay you. So so don't worry. So don't even worry about
big
that.
Fat check with zeros behind it. No, I'm just kidding.
I will.
I haven't done voiceover. Like, I can do it. I don't have like a demo reel I can show you because I haven't like been in the trade at all. This hypothetically, if you were to have me do this would be my first thing out of the gate. But I don't mind doing it because, dude, I run 3 shows a week, man.
Bro, don't even worry about it because like I
got
said,
you.
You have that radio voice too.
I do. I went to a broadcasting school in Parkville, Maryland in 2007, so I can tell you from experience. I have a diploma in radio, bro.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, I do have this one character that's going to be giving like news reports and stuff. So
hit me up and I'll do it.
I'll definitely hit you
Text
up.
me.
I'll definitely hit you up for that and everything. But yeah, man, I do have some. I have a trailer for let me go.
Yeah, you can share your screen. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna click on the trailer and then you can just pull it up. Hold up on my.
Well, unfortunately, I'm on a web browser that won't allow me to like share my screen or other tabs.
Oh yeah, I got you.
If you want to share your screen, you can do it.
Yeah. 1 second, I got you. It was this.
Okay.
It was this folder. I got a lot of.
Yeah, by the way, one of my follow-up questions to this was, what you just explained to us in the last X amount of minutes. Do you have all this in your head, or do you have this on a bunch of Google Docs? Because there's no way I could keep track of all this. With my own brain.
Oh well, yeah. All this started in my head, then I put it on Google Docs and stuff.
Oh, thank God! Because I was gonna say, if you just mentioned all this and this is in your head of Rolodexes, I can't even begin to imagine how crowded it must be up there.
Yeah. Yeah,
here we go.
I give you that. Yeah, so you should be good.
Nice graphics.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, I know it's early. Oh, here we go.
I was able to pinpoint Jasmine Mitchell's location.
Remember the pain.
Oh shit.
And remember the suffering.
What do you mean they're coming after me? I don't get it. How did they find out?
Everyone around you will pay the ultimate price.
I think someone just walked into my apartment.
Jasmine, get the hell out of there right now.
What are you?
Damn it, kid, I'm on my way. High-grade silver nitrate bullets. Something your kind doesn't take lightly. Well, am I right, vampire?
What is going on
Kid, did
here?
you forget? The party was canceled to avoid a potential police raid. Your friend should already know that.
No fucking way. Is he even human?
You're doing?
Jasmine, step away from the window right now!
Damn it! Looks like the police are headed in your direction.
No! Wait! Jasmine!
Only then will you become the man I remember. Hezekiah Trippin.
Yep.
Jeez.
That's the trailer.
Damn, son. Whew. That is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in the best way possible. Because some of the stuff you mentioned when it comes to vampires, one of the first things that comes to my mind is obviously Blade, Wesley Snipes, black trench coat, shades, walking in there with the techno. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
The club rave scene, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I mean, you want to introduce a comic book character to the big screen? That is the way to effing do it,
dude. That
Wesley Snipes.
That still leaves an imprint on me. That scene, and this is the thing. Like my first introduction to Blade was the Spider-Man cartoon series.
Yeah, the animated series. He had him in there too.
So when they said they had a movie, I said a movie of like
with this guy.
I'm like this guy. And
how's this gonna work?
I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like how is this gonna work? And the club scene, because like when you think of vampires, vampires are always like threatening and stuff like that. You know,
the whole nine.
The whole nine. But I remember my dad took me to the theaters to see it. I was kind of like, I don't know, this kind of like when he walked into the club, all the vampires stopped and got quiet. I'm like, everybody's scared of this one guy. Like I never saw a bunch of vampires scared of one person.
It's the Daywalker.
Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I don't know. This kind of lame. Like with like they all scared of one guy. What's going on? But man, when the action scene started, and I see him putting in that work, I was a believer. I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like
he's got silver stakes, he's got the silver shotgun, he's got the blade in his his trench coat where you see him pull it out, draws the line in the sand, about to cut a bunch of people's heads off. I mean,
bro, yeah, man. So VK was definitely took some inspiration from Blade because that's the only blueprint, especially at that time. Before Twilight was like a big thing and stuff like that.
And the Vampire Diaries.
And the Vampire Diaries and stuff like that.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, of course we had Buffy and stuff, but when it came, like, what really made vampires, like, it really got me into
30 Days of Night.
Mm-hmm.
30 Days of Night was another one. Daybreakers.
Yeah. But what really got me into the whole vampire thing was Blade. So, yes,
Blade.
VK did take some inspiration. Take some inspirations from Blade as far as like the aesthetic, especially with Hezekiah Draven and everything. But in my universe, my vampires aren't your typical vampires because in my universe, every person harnesses, I guess you say, a spiritual ability called a wave essence. Everybody have a wave essence. A wave essence is like your spiritual consciousness, but the only difference is some people are able to actually tap into it. So in my universe, people are put on a wave spectrum, and you have from levels 1 to level 5. Once you get to level 4, you're known as a gifted person, and then the level 5 is a prodigy. Now, a gifted individual and a prodigy, especially a gifted person, they're able to tap into their soul consciousness, their wave essence, and when they're able to tap into it, they're able to perform like, I wouldn't say supernatural feats, but they're able to perform some feats that not a regular person who's not gifted could do. So they can be able to perform these things called wave arts, which you have critical arts, cognitive arts, spiritual arts. You have all these different forms of different arts, and you're able to tap into like your soul, your energy, and stuff like that. And of course, it drains you and stuff. And there's a whole mechanic system to that. So even vampires got a wave essence, and they can be able to draw from that and use special arts and stuff like that in my universe. So they're not just your vampire who just throw a stake at them or the sunlight and kill them and stuff. They actually have transformations, power-ups. They can level up and stuff like that, depending on the vampire type. And in order for you to determine and know what type of vampire they are is based on their iris, their eye color. Stuff like that. So you're going to get into that in chapter 2. Hezekiah Draven is going to explain some of that in chapter 2, and also he's going to you can get into the surface level of wave arts and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it's going to be cool, and not also this too. They won't just be hunting down vampires. They won't eventually be fighting werewolves and lesser wolves and succubus and demons. And stuff like that, as well. So it's not just vampires. Vampires is the theme or the premise.
Right.
It's going to be other folklore and stuff that's in VK as well.
I mean, dude, this guy has details. His details have details. The details of the details of the details have details. The fact that you have mapped so much of this out so far ahead of the curve, I mean...
I love video games, and so that also RPGs.
You've been around different elements of storytelling for so many decades. It's just like it's like tattooed on your brain. You just know how the story structure of any kind of thing that you're gonna do is supposed to work, or how it could work. What if we did this, right? Or what if we did that, or whatever. Dudes, forget Kevin Feige. Like you take what Feige, what Snyder attempted to do, and all these other filmmakers that have had ideas for cinematic or multiverse universes, and you just amplified it by like 1 billion. Honestly, I don't know how. Thank God for Google Docs, because there's no way I could keep track of any of this. Once again, this is FreeWheeling Fridays with Brian Blackson Jr., aka the smartest man alive. Don't forget to like and share. If you have any questions, let us know. If you're watching this live on Memorex, hello there. So thank you for sharing that all with us. Appreciate it. Looks fantastic. By the way, give our congrats to your artist in the Philippines, because she's killing it.
Yes, yes.
Clearly she is. And it takes teamwork to make the dream work, with all due respect. So that's a good thing. A couple of rapid fire questions, if you don't mind. What are some of the rewards about being an indie comic book creator in your mind?
Just able to just express like what's up here. I'm my own boss. It's my own world. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I feel passionate like about it. Like I eat, sleep, and drink Venus Orion comics. That's all I do. It got to the point where I don't play video games much, because I have a purpose now. Venus Orion Comics is my purpose. I'm already self-employed. I like this is my thing. I do YouTube, 3D hentai animation, and stuff like that. But like I don't take like I don't feel a purpose sitting down playing video games all day. I don't, even when I'm doing hentai, and the hentai makes me money so I can invest, but that's not my purpose either. Like every time I'm sitting down in front of my computer and I'm typing up stories and coming up with new concepts, and I'm talking to my artists about, an idea that I have, and introducing new characters to her so she can draw up, and we go back and forth with each other with these ideas and everything like that, I feel a sense of fulfillment. Like it feels like I'm actually doing something with my life, doing this. And now the fact is that I'm actually able to put this out there for other people to be able to discover it and enjoy. And I it feels good, whether it's negative or positive. The fact is that people are giving their input on what I've created. I mean, I think that's the part about it that I enjoy the most. I'm looking forward to see what people theories are with VK and many other comic book series that I have in development and everything. I'm looking forward to see who their favorite character is, and I'm looking forward to see what matchups of this character. I like to see this character fight that character and everything. These are the things that I'm looking forward to more than actually, getting paid doing this, But the only bummer to this is the fact is that I need money in order to bring this vision out there. Like, this stuff is expensive. And making this book was expensive. It was expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for and so I have all the things in my head, and I have over 100 characters. It's characters that people still haven't seen yet.
Oh my gosh.
Or whatever.
I can't begin to keep track of all this.
Yeah. I got so right now, like Ultra Squad X is I'm working on chapter 1 right now, because the goal is after chapter 2 of VK comes out, Ultra Squad X chapter 1 is coming out. That's going to be 74 pages, and then I'm going to release chapter 3 of VK, and then Die Star Champion Siona, so forth and so on. And I have a clear vision ahead, but the thing is money. I gotta make money.
Which segues into the next part of the question. What are some of the biggest challenges about being an indie comic creator, which is financing?
Yeah, financing is the biggest thing. There's a lot of my people, in my audience say, man, I would like to see an animated trailer, to your stuff. I said, well, that costs money. You see that little animation of Hezekiah Draven in that trailer, and I'm standing on that rooftop? That costs you $800 just to do 5 seconds.
Wow.
That's 800. So can you imagine trying to do because I wanted to do a 1 minute and 30-second trailer of VK fully animated. That's gonna cost you damn near $5,000 to $8,000 to do, just for 1 minute and 30 seconds and stuff. So this stuff costs money, and it's not counting the book. So you can only imagine, like, I put a lot of money out for this first campaign and stuff like that. And now I'm doing 74 pages. This one, the first chapter is only 28 pages of story. I'm doing 74 pages of story. So this is going to cost me double of what I paid to get this book done. And I'll tell everybody, if you want to see these books released faster, you can show some support. Go to my Patreon. My Patreon, right now there's 2 tiers for now. The first tier is only $2. You get access to the perks that I have. The perks is pretty much you get this behind the scenes sketches of my characters and my thought process of how I thought of these characters. And you get to see what the characters look like before they came to their final default design and stuff like that, which you really need to go check out. I'm still uploading stuff on there as well. Also, you're going to see when we begin the chapter 2, you're going to see rough sketches of some of the pages to chapter 2 before they get finalized and go into like complete development and stuff. So you'll be able to get that for only $2 a month and stuff. So and then the $5 tier is mostly my video tiers, like breakdown videos, which I have who's the rooftop killer, which which is in relations to chapter 1 of VK, which I won't spoil. But there's a whole breakdown of, pointing, clues and who could the rooftop killer be, and all this other type of stuff. And you'll get more videos like that. And you're also going to get the Venus Orion Comics documentary that's going to be coming. And you have early access to videos before they go on to my Venus Orion Comics YouTube channel. So, and you get to download the videos, like you download them, you can have them and stuff like that. So, that's the perk to that. So, if you get the $5 tier, you also still have access to the $2 tier. You get everything from that tier too, as well. If you get the $5 tier, then there's going to be 2 tiers later that I'm going to do. The fan service tier, if you want to see a little bit of spicy stuff, like animate, drawings of some of my female characters and stuff like that, little spicy fan service. That's going to be a much higher tier for people who want to see some of the sexy themes that I have for the characters. Like I'm working on a beach summer beach set with my female characters. So sexy bikinis and stuff like that me and my artists will be working on. I'm trying to have it out before the summer is done, but that's going to be on that new tier. For those who may be interested in that as well. And that money that I get from there, if I can be able to pull in at least $500 to $800 a month, that will definitely help me take that money and I can be able to put towards chapter 2. That will alleviate the money that I'm spending out of my pocket, but that would definitely help. And I can also put that towards my promotional art and stuff for marketing and advertisement. And also pay voice actors. Like I already pay voice actors for the script. When they audition, if they get the part, I pay them and stuff like that for it.
Right.
Whatever I get them to do and stuff like that. But that would definitely help me more. The Patreon would help me more because I can use that money to pay them instead of me just going in my own pocket and saying here and stuff like that. So it's the goal is try to alleviate much stress out of my wallet and stuff like that to get this stuff done. And that's what's the frustrating part. I got so many stories to tell, but it's being
stories to tell. Get out of here.
But it's
I get that.
Yeah, it's being held back by the money. It's the money, man. So yeah.
You got to spend money if you want to make money. Yeah, but you got to make it to spend it, brother. It's a catch-22.
Yeah.
I get it. Show me the money. Show me the money, Jerry. See, there's a Jerry Maguireism for you. Another question for you. What, from your experience going to conventions, whether you're there as a vendor or as an attendee, what are a few special memories that stand out to you from being at conventions?
All right. Well, I guess going as a fan going to conventions, I think the fun part is just being in the atmosphere, seeing people, meeting people who has the same interests as you, meeting the cosplayers, especially when I go into the video game room, meet a bunch of gamers and everybody in cosplay, and we get to talk about our favorite video games and make friends. And now they subscribe to my YouTube channel, and now we're talking on Discord and stuff like that. The community aspect. Being around people with the same interests as you, I think that's the fun part. Now, the vendor part, since I've been going with my brother Striking KOTs, the t-shirt custom tee business, and now as Venus Orion Comics, what I like about the vendor part is, having a product and having something to connect people to. I like the fact is that when I had set up my Venus Orion Comics table, I had my Venus Orion Comics poster. And I had my QR code on the poster, and I like the fact is that people walk by the table of Venus Orion Comics and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. They would take a double tap, they would turn around and walk back and then stare at the poster, take their cell phone out and scan it, which gives you all my social media information, the newsletters and stuff like that. And then they end up coming over to the table, and then I'm able to share with everyone Venus Orion Comics and why I enjoy it and stuff. And another thing about being a vendor too, I'm able to actually sit with the voice actors and celebrities of some of my favorite, people that voice some of my favorite characters and stuff. Like when we went to J1 Con, especially like 2 years ago, in Atlantic City, man. We sat right next to the Yellow Ranger from Power Ranger.
Oh, Karen Ashley
Force, from Time Force.
Oh, Deborah Estelle Phillips.
Yeah. We sat next to our table was right near her. Nurse
Joy,
she's
a sweetheart. I love her.
Yeah, we was near our table was right dab in the middle of her. Nurse Joy from Pokemon, and also Killer B, which is the ninja rapper from Naruto, and the voice actor Tahiro Yui from Gundam Wing.
Oh,
and
wow.
Our table was right there, and then we hung with them. We hung with them and everything. So we got a chance to actually get to sit down and chill with them and actually network and stuff like that with them. And they would give our booth a shout out and stuff like that.
That's
so
awesome.
It's the business part of it as a vendor I like the most. Kind of get to meet new people. You'll know like it's always opportunities waiting, but in order for you to get those opportunities, you have to put yourself out there. And
you got to network
and stuff like that. So
it's crucial.
So
in the business.
Exactly. So this one guy at he works for Liberty Comic Con. And he said to me, man, he said, man, I love what you're doing and stuff. He said, right now we have a lot of guests, but we want to try to see if we have an extra booth open because we want you to be the featured author. You can actually have your own booth, featured booth and stuff like that at Comic Con for Venus Orion Comics, and that's all because we just talked and stuff, and I gave him the pitch of Venus Orion Comics, and they like my brother's custom T-shirt business, which we got a plug in for that. They want to hire my brothers and them to do their T-shirts for their staff and stuff like that. So
I may have to pick up some swag from your family there. You guys got some killer swag.
Yeah. I'm gonna I'll put in a private chat too.
There you go.
The site and stuff. And when you go to Striking Keel Tees, Striking Keel Tees also allows you to do not only custom T-shirts, you can get custom hats, custom sweatpants, hoodies.
Oh, no. Damn.
We do like this. They made this here a tumbler tent.
Maybe And I Quote Channel can get some swag from you guys.
Yep. So, and we also do got another one. I got a wallet too. We do wallets.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, we do wallets and stuff like that. Like I said, my hoodie, Venus Orion Comics hoodie, and everything. Matter of fact, speaking of that,
you got a jacket?
I got another. Cause this is a performance hoodie.
Oh, performance hoodie. Okay, I got you.
And this is the hoodie for
where is that?
For Venus Orion Comics.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
Yeah, see.
Oh, is that a zip-up hoodie?
Yeah, zip-up hoodie. Yep.
Dude, zip-up hoodies are way better.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the words of Gordon, I got to get me one of those.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So we do it. We do it all. We do. Oh, I forgot too.
Hey, what else you got in it? You got a pen?
All right, we'll be doing that next. I got a mug. This is my MugenLord Mugen TV mug and stuff like that.
Man.
We do mugs. Oh crap! Yeah, I got another one. Venus Orion Comics. Man. Also my 3D hentai beauties. We do.
I mean, this is gonna sound. I mean, nothing. And by the way, nothing against the website that I use for my merchandising because I use what do you call it, Redbubble. And Redbubble's fine, but like, dude, I should probably go to you guys. Maybe you guys have some design ideas that I'm probably not even thinking of. Who knows?
Oh yeah, we use Wix. Like my brothers use Wix. I use Wix for Venus Orion Comics. They use Wix for.
I should pick your guys' brain and we should talk about some stuff.
Yeah. But yeah,
maybe you can help me out. You know?
Yeah. We did actual
for real
bundles for content creators. Like we did some for Twitch streamers. Like we actually made like a bundle box.
Like myself
and stuff like that. Yeah. So we did my boy from Words of Paradise. We did his shirts. We did his merchandise. We did his merchandise and everything like that. And man, and it came out really, really well and stuff. So yeah, just contact my brothers. Because you can go right when you go on the site. It's a chat bar. You can just hit them up. And,
nice.
And
I see it.
Yeah, they'll get to you when they'll definitely get to you. And everything, and they can talk. You can talk business with them if you have anything as far as merch you want us to work on and stuff like that. And also the cool perk is if you live in the area of like that, you can just come by the studio and just pick the stuff up instead of waiting for us to ship it to you. You can come by and pick it up, or if you live really close, we just drive it to you. and everything. So yeah.
Well, I'm in Maryland. You're in PA, so it's a bit of a distance there. Maybe not
Yeah.
super long because I've been to Philly. It's about an
Mhm.
hour and a half, 2-hour drive for me from where I'm at. So
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe I can make a day trip out of it.
Yeah.
We can come up there, hang out with you guys.
Yeah, hang out. Yeah. That
Go to the studio or whatever, hang out, see what's popping.
Yeah, man.
As one might say, because it's always sunny in Philadelphia. So when I go to Philly, it's going to be sunny when I hang out with you and your team and your crew and get our potentially new and I quote swag, because and I'll send you the link to my link tree so you can take a look at my channel and some of the other things I've done in the past. So you can get
Yeah.
so you can get my background of some of the things I've done, some of the things I've collaborated with other people too and stuff like that. And I'm open to crossing the streams with other creators because we do it all the time anyway. So it's like, hey, it's a win-win for everybody, man.
That definitely is, man. Definitely is. I just enjoy this, man. I have so much fun of doing this stuff, and I just can't wait. Like, every day, like when I'm thinking of new ideas for my stories and stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
I play this story in my head like it's an episode of an anime. Like that's how I imagine it. The character, like in full animation, and everything. That's how I see it. I see it as an anime, how the characters interact, how the characters respond with one another and stuff. And then that's when I just put it down on the paper or type it up in a Google Doc and everything like that. And then farther, structure it and get my organize the ideas. And everything like that when it comes to the structure and everything. But when it comes to me writing my stories, like I can't just write a story where it starts. I have to do backstory first. And sometimes backstory takes me months to do before I even start the story itself, because I have to draw from that backstory. Like, especially when I'm making characters and stuff, I can't just write a character in their current state and making the story currently. No, I have to go back first of this character's past and history. So when I do the story and stuff, now I know where I want to take this character based on their past and their, past experience and how they behave and stuff like that. I can't just start right where a story starts. I have to make the backstory first and stuff like that before I actually work on the story. And that's why VK took me so long to release this book, because I couldn't just start the story VK. I had to go I had to go back and stuff like that. And I can't spoil how far back because there's some crazy stuff with these characters and everything. But yeah, I had to develop all that first. Before I even start the actual chapter 1 of VK. I had to do all this backstory, and then is backstory on top of backstory, because now when this happened, okay, or it's this happened, but why did this happen, or how did this happen and stuff. Then I had to do a backstory for that so it can all make sense. So yeah, it took me a full year before I even start chapter 1 itself. And then I end up doing like 7 to 8 drafts of the first chapter before I finalized it or whatever like that. So it took me a lot of time when it comes to like coming up with these stories and stuff like that. I have to get a whole lore. I have to do a whole bunch of lore before actually writing the story itself. Once I got that foundation done and everything, then I'm able to go ahead and start doing the actual story and stuff. Once I got the foundation set up and stuff.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're just, I can't compete with this. I can't compete with any of this. You're killing it on 20 billion levels, more so than I've ever heard from any creator in the history of my career. And I've been doing this for 5 years is a long time, man. I got almost 300 episodes of And I Quote. I got, I've done so many different collaborations with so many creators and so many wonderful people. And I've met a lot of, like 9 times out of 10, I've met everyone I've worked with has been, or, met with, talked with, whatever. Mm-hmm. They're all cool. They're cool as ice. But you, sir, just turning up to 11. And it's almost 2:00 in the morning on the East Coast, and I'm tired. So with that being said, I want to take this opportunity, if you don't mind me saying so, Brian, because clearly you got energy for days, whereas this Ryan doesn't. Dude, we've been talking for 3 hours. This is probably one of the longest shows I've done in like forever.
Bro, when you hit me up, like, because I got the time wrong. When you hit me up, I thought you said 11 a.m.
No.
So I woke up this morning. I said, oh, snap. I woke up. It was like 9:30, 10 o'clock a.m. I said, oh, snap. I got to get in the shower. Let me get ready and stuff like that. So when 11 o'clock came, I said, "Yo, dude never sent me the email." I said, "Send me an email of the but then I went back and read it. He said PM. I said, "That's kind of late," because I like the dude. When I got on, I was falling asleep. I was laying here asleep or whatever like that. I was like, "Man, I said I didn't know it was gonna be." I read it wrong or whatever like that. So, but once we got to talking, I'm wide awake now.
You're all wired. Yeah, you didn't. Yeah. We don't need no stinking coffee or Monster Energy to do this show. But this has probably been the longest show I've done in a very, very long time. But I don't mean this as a negative. It's just I'm looking at the facts. I'm looking at my screen here because it tells me how long we've been going on the air. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much to Brian Blackson Jr. It has been an honor and a pleasure, and I respect you 100%.
Thanks.
If there's anything you need, text me, and vice versa. You know, you and I are going to be communicating off air, off camera. You know, later in the week, next week, whatever. We're going to get some things going, dial in some things. I want to, we'll exchange some ideas. You know, if you want me to do some voiceover, we can talk more about that later. But in the meantime, I want to thank you for watching or listening to almost 3 hours of great entertainment. June of Wrath said, yeah, I've enjoyed both of you all. Oh, thank you so much, June of Wrath, because I didn't think I was going to be very likable on this show. No, I'm just kidding. I'm fine. But seriously, man, it's been great seeing you. Congratulations. If someone wants to know more about you, check out what you're doing in the Brian Blackson Jr. universe, which clearly is like 50 billion planets and stars and galaxies and Milky Ways and whatever else is going on. Where can they follow you on social media?
Oh, you can follow me on X, x.com/MugenLord. You can also check me out on youtube.com/MugenLord. So you can check out my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is a gaming channell, and everything. So you're into gaming. I do gaming reviews. I do gaming unboxings, and everything like that as well. I also talk about a little bit about the culture war and entertainment. I don't talk about it much anymore. It's gotten too toxic. But yeah, you can definitely check that out, or you can go to Venus and Ryan Comics YouTube channel. You can check that out, or my Venus and Ryan comic, because I can't have the S because the letter count all like that. So it's Venus and Ryan comic on X. So x.com Venus and Ryan comic or whatever like that. So you better check me out on there. I'll probably put in my link tree in the private, so or whatever like that. So it'll link you to my Instagram and all the other social media platforms as well, where you can catch me. Also to let you guys know, I just revealed the first character that's going to appear in chapter 2 of VK, Dr. Yolanda Briggs. I did her little reveal trailer and everything. That's posted. It was posted on Patreon first for early access. Now it's on the YouTube channel, so you can check her out. Get on my newsletter. I'll put the newsletter link. It's free. It's a free subscription. Doesn't cost you anything. And the reason why I say get on the newsletter is because it keeps you up to date, to let you know, what's going on with Venus and Ryan Comics, especially when it comes to my campaigns that will be coming. Also, you get free wallpapers for your desktop and for your mobile phones.
Oh, that's pretty damn cool.
It's free. You guys just missed out on the Dr. Yolanda's wallpaper that I sent out to everybody that was on the newsletter. You want to wait until the next newsletter come that will provide the link to wallpapers and stuff. And you better grab all the wallpapers that's been available so far. Also, when I do contests like video game tournaments or art contests and stuff like that, you can't participate in it unless you're a newsletter subscriber. So you'll be able to participate in it. You'll be able to win a free comic at times, or you'll be able to win merchandise like a hoodie or a shirt or whatever I will have, or whatever like that for that particular contest. But in order for you to get involved with those contests, you have to be part of the newsletter. It's free. It costs you nothing at all. Just subscribe and bam. And also, I will send out discount codes every so often for my website store, so you can get discounts on merchandise like the hoodies and stuff like that on my Venus and Ryan Comics site. So that's the upside. It's free. It's the upside. Just if you're interested, definitely give it a try. Definitely subscribe to it if that's something that you're interested, especially if you're looking forward to chapter 2 of VK, which this is going to be some of the best work that I think that me and my artists is about to put out. Because I think chapter 2 is going to be the most important. Because like I said, chapter 1 is the first book, and people are still waiting for more books and stuff like that before they want to take that chance and dive into it. And I think chapter 2 is going to be where we're going to go all out as far as the art is concerned. You definitely going to get surface level of a lot of the mechanics introduced MVK in the universe of Venus Orion Comics as well. And you'll be introduced to more characters and get to know their motivations and stuff like that, and the setups that I have within this arc. Another thing too, when it comes to my books, especially for this first phase, each of the comic book series, their first each arc is 10 chapters, 10 issues. So VK season 1 or arc 1 is 10 chapters, and so forth and so on for the other books and everything. So when we finish all 10 chapters, there will be a volume where all the chapters are in one book. We're going to do soft cover and hard cover, like hardback, for that volume when it does drop, and everything. But yeah, man, that's essentially it.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Do greatly appreciate it. You know, you got a lot going for you, man. My God, possibilities are endless, as one might say in the interwebs.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. I'll talk to you here again momentarily. My name is Ryan of And I Quote Channel. Follow me across all forms of social media, simply at And I Quote Channel. That's where am I pointing to? There it is, right there in the name tag. You can check me out there. I got a bunch of shows every Friday and Saturday. Saturdays is And I Quote at 12 p.m. Eastern, and then we got the movie watch-alongs, where if a movie turns a certain age, we celebrate its anniversary. We just did one for the 20th anniversary of Batman Begins. Speaking of DC Comics there, Brian. And next week, we're going to be celebrating the 50th anniversary of Jaws. That's right, Jaws from Steven freaking Spielberg. Yeah, you heard me right, Brian. So there's a lot coming. A lot of movie watch-alongs planned. We got a lot of great episodes of And I Quote. Lots of great guests coming your way very soon. So check us all out there. Thank you so much for tuning in for almost 3 hours worth of Freewheeling Fridays between Brian and myself. Goodness gracious, I think we may have broken some records here, folks. But thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified of when the videos go up or to go live. And remember, life is better when supporting indie creators from all over the world, such as these kind folks. But you don't have to take my word for it.